I used to be that girl. I used to be that girl that let them say anything and do anything. And then what I would do is beat myself up. And I would treat myself like I was dirt. And I realized, no, you could be the anomaly. Owning your power, not being afraid to be confident, not being afraid to be vulnerable either, because whatever you tolerate will persist.
I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm a bad bitch. I'm beautiful. I'm fly. I'm unfuckwithable. I'm unexplainable. I don't tolerate or play with bullshit. I have respect for myself. I have integrity. I have character. And a lot of people just can't take it. How the hell, from where you started from, have you been able to build such damn resilient confidence?
I gotta tell you, you know, I was tired of not having confidence. I was tired of shrinking myself in the rooms that I would go into. As an entrepreneur, I meet a lot of women, and what I've noticed is that when women get around each other, there's not a lot of love. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of insecurities, a lot of backbiting, and so I wanted to be the woman that maintained who I am. Like, when I used to be, you know, like on food stamps, on Section 8, when I was, you know, in foster care as a young girl, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of support and a lot of friends. And so I made up in my mind that once I, you know, got mature and grew up, that I was gonna be that person that embodied everything that I wish I got from other people. So I play this game with myself. It's called observing myself. So I kind of look at myself as a second person. So it's Stormy and then it's Stormy. So Stormy watches Stormy. So I'm aware of how I'm moving, how I'm talking, what I'm doing, how I'm showing up. And I remember that that wasn't always me. And so being in rooms, feeling like I don't want to, you know, let nobody see me because I don't want to intimidate her or I don't want her to judge me was really challenging for me. But once I realized that, no, you could be the anomaly. Owning your power, not being afraid to be confident, not being afraid to be vulnerable either, not being afraid to be transparent, that's a freaking superpower. And so I know it, and I know that captures a lot of people's attention. So thank you for seeing me.
Did I see you? And let's talk about then in how you then created the anomaly, because everything you just said is super freaking powerful. But in all of that is the mess. And it's the mess that people get lost in, that they're not able to then come out the other side and be freaking Stormy. So let's actually just go back to your childhood. Your mum was trafficking drugs, and you, at the age of 13, found yourself in a house without a mother, with no running water. Because it's in these stories that you were able, I believe, to cultivate a skill set that has allowed you to then take it into your adulthood.
My parents are Jamaican descent. My mom didn't graduate from high school, never went to college. My mom was a drug dealer. At the age of 7 years old, I knew what a key of cocaine looked like. Like, I could still remember what it looked like, what it smelled like. I could remember the people coming in and out of the house. I could see them right now as I'm talking about it. And so as a young girl, watching my mom, I learned how to be a badass. I learned how to be resilient. But I also used to look at my mom and I used to say, I don't want to be like her. So at 13 years old, my mom went to Jamaica, like normal, to go get her drugs, like normal. And I thought she was coming back. 2 months passed, my mom didn't come back. 3 months passed, my mom didn't come back. By 3 months, she left us with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, Lisa, was a freak. Her boyfriend would stay in the room all day watching porno, and their door didn't have a knob. So I remember being 13 years old and I would hear the sound of the porn, and sometimes I would think my mom was home because the sound. And I'll look through the door and I'll see him in the room being a freak. This is my memory as a child. And then I wake up one day and we have no water. So for about 3 weeks, I would take baths with jugs of water. I would go to friends' houses and I would take baths. And one of my good friends, I'll never forget, her name was Mona. Her mom was at work all the time. She became a dancer. And so Mona would come home with all of this money. She dated my brother. And she'd throw all the money on the floor, and she's 16, I'm 13. She was gorgeous, beautiful skin, long hair, oh my God, beautiful. And I got goosebumps as I talk about it. I was like, where you get all this money from? And she's like, girl, I work at the strip club. I work at Rolex. And I'm like, but you 16 years old. How you doing that? And she's like, girl, I got a fake ID. That's easy. And all I could think about was, my water's off. We need some water. There's no food in the house. My mom, I don't know when she's coming home. She did not call. I had no idea what was going on with my mom. To this day, I still don't know what took her so long to come home. And then one night, this guy. I was dating this guy, and I always looked more mature than I actually was. So here I am, 13. I probably looked like I was about 19. And he invited me to go with him to his family strip club. They owned a club called Bootleggers. And we went, and he was like, stay in the car, I'll be right back. And I was like, no, I want to go in. Bring me in. And he thought I was like 19 years old. So he brought me in, and he leaves me in the common area while he goes in the office. I had on a black suede skirt, a black vest, a white shirt. I remember like it was yesterday. This guy walks up to me, and he goes, if you lift up your skirt, I'll give you $600 right now. I'm 13. In my mind, I'm like, how dare him? Like, this is humiliating. He walked off. I saw him like 5 minutes later, and I thought about my water being off at home. The guy still was in the office, the date that I was on. And I say, give me the $600. He gave me $600. I didn't even lift up my skirt yet. He gave it to me first. I wanted my money first. And I lifted up my skirt, and I was like, dang, that's all I had to do. I went home the next day, paid the water bill. I'm 13. Paid the water bill. My mom's boyfriend is still in the room being a freak. I paid the water bill. I'm 13, Lisa. I bought some groceries. And the next day, my friend goes, how did you get the money to do this? And I told her what happened. She ended up getting me a fake ID. So at 13 years old, I became a stripper. And then my mom finally came home. And when she came home, the home that we was in was in foreclosure. So we had to move. So I just went through I could tell you from dropping out of school in the 10th grade, I had my first child when I was 15. And the reality is that the reason why I had my son at 15 was because I wanted his dad to take care of me. So I know in my community, a lot of young girls have kids just so the man could provide for them. Because when you have the baby, if you're taking care of the baby, then you gotta take care of me. So I ended up having my first child at 15. Dropped out of school in the 10th grade, actually. I just found out about a month ago I did make it to 10th grade. I thought it was the 9th. I made it to the 10th grade. I stopped dancing for a while, but then here I am with this baby. Got on food stamps. I applied for Section 8, got approved. So I come from 10th grade education, stripper. I was in foster care for like 3 years. I remember being 15 years old and having to fight men off me because they used to come in my room trying to molest me as a kid. And finally, my mom comes back home, and we try to have a normal life, but all my mom knew was drugs. So I come from a background of my mom sold drugs, my dad sold drugs, then my brother sold drugs. So what you think happened? Every other week, he's going to jail. My brother ended up doing 15 years in prison at the age of 17. He went to prison for a crime he didn't commit. So what do you think happens after that? Every weekend, we're going back and forth to the prison to visit my brother. So I grew up in a very uncommon, but yet common circumstance, because a lot of people from my community, that's normal. Being molested is normal for my community. Having a child at 15 is normal, really. Dropping out of high school is normal. I remember being 9 years old, Lisa, and I'm in the shower, like an innocent kid taking a shower. My brother comes in the shower, jumps in the shower with me. I see blood everywhere. I look up, my brother's half of his head is blown off. I still to this day know what it looked like when I saw half my brother's head blown off. These are the things that I experienced as a young kid. But again, here I am today as someone that you never would have thought that I seen or experienced half the things I experienced. I became a stripper at 13, but I permanently thought that I was gonna be a stripper at 15. The only reason why I stopped stripping was when I had my second child at 19. When I gave birth to my daughter, I said, I don't want my daughter to think that being a stripper is cool. And that's when I decided to make that switch, to figure things out, because I knew that I couldn't continue on living that fast life with no opportunity for growth or change. And I made a decision to change myself.
The thing that really freaking hit me, where you said, sexual abuse is just normal in my community. All the things that you laid out, stripping, normal, getting pregnant early, normal. And when I think about how many people live their entire lives going, this is just normal.
Yep.
I can't make a change.
Yep.
This is my life.
Yep.
And one of my favorite quotes I've heard you say is, I will is way more powerful than IQ.
Exactly.
And I think that so many of us focus on the IQ or the circumstance around us means that we're going to inevitably lead a specific life.
Yep.
And what is so powerful about you, and why I was so excited to have you on and for us to talk about this, is that isn't where your story ended.
No.
How the hell can you keep showing up confident, badass, hold yourself accountable of all of your own actions? You never victimize yourself ever.
No.
You don't put blame on other people.
No.
The thing that you had said that really hit me as well was when I got pregnant at 15, I thought, the guy has to now stay. What did you do from that idea of, I've trapped him now he can't leave, where you felt like you had to trap a guy in order for you to have a future, to then incremental steps to be the person where you stand up for yourself? You don't, I've never heard you say, I need a man, I need this. It's like you are your own person and you're open to whatever comes your way, but you are very strong in your own conviction.
Yes.
What did that first step look like? Assume someone's listening right now where they feel like their future's been written for them and there's nothing they can do.
So I believe that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And the minute you fall into victim, it's over because you think that it happened and it's over with. So what I believe is don't allow yourself to go into that dark area. Don't allow yourself to go into that area of being victimized. The minute something happens to you, I'm talking about stop and say, okay, what does this really mean? And I learned that at a very young age. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that, okay, if I don't figure it out, then it's gonna kill me. I'm gonna be here with no water. I'm gonna be here trying to take care of this child. I'm gonna be here waiting on my mom to come home. And I realized that what didn't kill me was truly making me stronger. And so I actually would tell you this. I dated this guy, he was a football player. And I don't know if you have ever experienced this, but when you have a new boyfriend, you tend to want to get close to the family because you think that this is what we think. When you're close to the family, you're in. And I got close with his aunt, and I read Think and Grow Rich at the age of 18. And I had never read a book from cover to cover in my life. And the only reason why I read that book from cover to cover is because she gave me accountability. She told me, okay, every night we're gonna debrief about each chapter. So I knew I had to read it because I didn't want to sound stupid on the debrief. That's another one that I tell you, find some type of accountability because accountability helps you to stay in alignment. So after I read Think and Grow Rich, it changed my life, Lisa, because I thought, okay, I'm a 10th grade, high school dropout. I wasn't that smart. I didn't go to college. Nobody around me went to college. Nobody around me was doing anything legal either. I only saw drugs, scheming, scamming, stripping, baby daddy, baby mama, fighting, arguing. My mom's boyfriend was a freak. So I didn't have any signs of success, of a beautiful life. I didn't see it. But when I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, I started to get into my imagination. I got out of my head and into my imagination. And I didn't really understand the dynamics of creative imagination and those type of things at the time when I was reading it. But something about reading that book helped me to broaden my future. So I started to say to myself, okay, I'm gonna marry a rich man. And I'm gonna be a great baby mom. I'm gonna take care of the husband, I'm gonna take care of the house, I'm gonna do all of those things. But that didn't really work out because I wasn't the woman that I needed to be to attract the right person. So I became a notorious, relentless go-getter. I took all my pain, all my trauma, all the things that I had experienced, and I said, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur because it didn't work out with my child's father. As a matter of fact, I couldn't wait to get rid of him because he cheated on me. When you are depending on a man for everything, they don't respect you. They don't. They don't respect you. They don't treat you like a queen because they realize that you need them. And that was very vulnerable, very weak, and I would never do that again. And I don't encourage any woman to depend on a man for anything. I think partnerships are great, collaboration is great, but don't depend. Be a support and have your own. And when I started to develop a sense of my own, I started to make money. I started to sell T-shirts. As a young girl, the first business that I had, I sold T-shirts. And I gotta tell you the truth. So first I used to steal them out of the store. I was and I love telling the story because how you start is not how you have to finish. It's not how you have to finish. But it's about, for me, seeing yourself in your imagination. If you could take yourself, I'm talking about you could be in the most impoverished, most messed up situation. But in that situation, if you could see yourself forward, like what do you really want your life to be like? What do you really want your life to look like? And just imagine that, you will start doing things differently because that imagination of yourself would make you move differently. But at the time, I needed money. Here I am with my son. I had him at 15. I wanted my independence. I didn't like knowing that the dad was cheating on me. So how am I gonna be independent? I have a 10th grade education. Where am I gonna work at? McDonald's, Burger King? No, my friends were shoplifters. and they were good. I don't know if you know about this, but back in the day, we used to have something called a buzzer bag. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So let me tell you about it.
Yeah, tell me about
A buzzer bag is a bag that you make, and it doesn't allow the alarm to trigger from the sensors on the clothes.
So it like muffles the sensor.
So when you walk out the store, it won't go off. I knew what a buzzer bag was. I had one. Also, I used to wear girdles. I used to go to the store, and now here I am, 18, 19 years old. I'm 44 now, but I would go in the store with a girdle on, and I would look like a pregnant woman, and I would literally steal clothes. I stole clothes. I stole food. I stole necessities. I stole deodorant. Like, I would steal and sell everything. And then I realized after I would do those things that how long was that gonna last? And I also felt like this is not something that I wanna be known for. And that was when I started to change my environment. I think people need to put more power on understanding how important it is to get in the right environment. Exposure is everything. So after I Rethink and Grow Rich, it changed my mindset. I started to live in my imagination, and I realized that I had to get around more successful people, or successful people in general. And so I started off just being a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader, and in the cheerleading environment, you meet the cheerleading moms. And my mom ended up going back to prison, Lisa. When my mom went back to prison, guess what ended up happening? I had nowhere to go. But I ended up living with one of my cheerleading friends, and her mom like brought me in as like I was her daughter. And as I lived with them, I started to see the family dynamic, how families live together, how they eat dinner together. And so that exposure helped to, cultivate my new way of thinking, because I never seen a family eat at the dinner table. Like literally, like that's normal for a lot of people. But eating dinner at a dinner table, I never experienced that at home with my mom. Not until I lived with my friend. And so I love to get in the right environments. I tell people right now today, always find a way to get into an environment that can increase your level of belief, your level of confidence, and your imagination.
Okay, there's so much there. I wanna make sure that I really get to this question because, wow. In those steps, I think they're super powerful. But there's two types of people. So there's the person that has never seen a family dinner and then just echoes the life that they've seen. Right? So it's kind of like, have you heard about the alcoholic? So the alcoholic father has two children and they're twins, and one kid ends up being an alcoholic, and they ask him, why did you become an alcoholic? And they're like, because my father's an alcoholic.
Exactly.
They then ask the brother who never touches a drop of alcohol, and they say, how come that you don't touch alcohol? And he's like, because my father's an alcoholic. So the same person in that same situation that you're in, most people echo what they've seen. They don't go out and search for something else.
Exactly.
So what do you think it was that gave you the idea to then echo and find something else where most people don't? Because if we can even break that idea,
that's so good.
Hopefully people can then start seeking things outside. Because here's the trap, girl. When you're part of a community, you feel safe. And so there's that part of, if I leave, I'm not going to feel safe because I don't know that the unknown is scary to me. So let me just stay in the known, even if it's toxic, even if it's bad for me, even if it doesn't encourage me or keeps my mind small. So how did you break free when most people don't?
Let me tell you something. When I don't like something, I get the hell out of it. I did not like my life. I'll never forget this, and it kind of makes me feel a little sad, but I remember one day telling my mom, I'm so inspired by you. And my mom is deceased now. And this day I said, I'm so inspired by you. And she was like, yeah, she was so excited. She was like, tell me. I said, I'm so inspired not to be like you. And it broke her heart that day. But that was the day that I realized that this is not cool. Like, first of all, I love my mom. She is still to this day, like, one of my inspirations. I honor her with my life. My mom did the best she could with the knowledge and the wisdom that she had access to. My mom first started selling drugs. I just found this out like a year ago because her mother gave her drugs. Her mother said, here's a pound of weed, go sell it. So that's all my mom was exposed to. But that's not my case. I didn't like my life. I didn't like the family dynamic. I was like, I don't like this. I mean, stealing, scheming, scamming, no water, watching my mom's freaky boyfriend, my mom never home, me visiting prisons all the time. I was like, there's no way. God loves me and this is gonna be my reality. So I started questioning God. All right, God, you so God, why is my life like this? And then I realized that it was the greatest gift he gave me. He gave me the gift of all of these experiences because he made me, I'm a warrior woman. I tell people I am a warrior woman. I may be a wounded warrior at times, but I am very aware that everything that I experienced was building my character, was building my fight, was building my persistence. And so I think that what people gotta learn to do is, if you don't like something, Lisa, why stay in it? Like, I'm talking about to this day, I'm 44. If I don't like something, if I don't like how I'm sitting, I'm gonna cross my leg and turn the other way. I'm not gonna stay there letting my leg hurt, let my leg go to sleep. So when you don't like something, it's your responsibility to change it. Like, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I can't expect, who's gonna save me, right? And so I think we have to be more responsible, especially when you become an adult. Like, who you think gonna save you? Like, I hear people sometimes say, I don't have nobody to help me. Okay, so who's supposed to help you, right? Your mom, your dad, you are an adult. So that's been me for a very long time. And even right now today, if I don't like something, I'm gonna find the means to get the money, to get the knowledge, to get the relationship. I believe in reciprocity. I believe in karma. I very much believe in principles. I believe what you make happen for somebody else, God will make happen for you. And so I just operate in this very principle-based spiritual realm. And I just believe that there's nothing that I can't be, do, or have either. If I want it, I'm gonna find the means to get it. Whether it's through a relationship, whether it's through me finding out through a book, whether it's through a mastermind. And I told this to my boyfriend yesterday. I believe that one of my superpowers is I'm never gonna stop trying. Never. I don't care, even money. I think it gets to a point where money is powerful, right? But money isn't everything. Because I've been in a rich depression. I've had millions of dollars in the bank. I could have had a Rolls Royce outside, diamond jewelry, and I'm in the house depressed. And so I realized that relationships are very important. Who calls you? Not just who you call, but who calls you to check on you? What are the things you do for other people? And so those are the things that I believe keeps me going. But also, I just think that when you look at your life, you have to decide what you want your life to look like. Mm-hmm. I tell people that the vision for your life creates the discipline for your life. Have a vision. When there is no vision, then you perish, right? So when you have a vision, you know who you can hang out with, what to eat, what you can't eat, what you can drink, what you can't drink. So I think a superpower as well is for a person to see themselves in their imagination, have a vision, and do everything in your power to reach that vision that you see for yourself.
Give me an example of you had a vision and then what disciplines you had to put in place in order to serve that vision. Because I want people to almost take the template, because now this becomes like any vision you have, you can put it into action. It just takes a structure and a strategy, and that comes with discipline. So if you can actually just take us step by step, give us an example.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you this, I'm not very structured. And I think that is what scares away a lot of entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, because you think that you got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to have a blueprint. You have to have logistics. You have to have a structure. Can you scale? Those type of words used to intimidate me, right? But I was a hustler with heart. Let me repeat that. I was a hustler with some heart. It wasn't until I got mentorship. I would tell anybody, find you a coach, find you a mentor, even if it's virtual, because those people will serve as a shortcut to success. So I'll give you an example. Yeah. As a kid, we was always moving from pillar to post. I could not get comfortable in school because we were moving to another school. I couldn't get comfortable with my friends because I knew we was gonna be moving soon. It's like my mom would always have the money for the down payment and the closing. She'll have the money for the mortgage for maybe a year, if that, and then we were moving. And then my mom learned how to trick the system. So my mom would file bankruptcy all the time, chapter 13, chapter 7, and so I watched this and I'm around her, and it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. So here I am listening to my mom. I didn't realize how much information I was accumulating from just being around. So I bought my first house at 18, my first home. I moved into this home. It was 2 bedrooms. It was a nice little cute pool in the backyard, only 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. But I was so proud that here I am, an 18-year-old with my own house. And I remember in the back of my mind saying, if this doesn't work out, I'll just file bankruptcy like my mom, and I'll live here for free. So bankruptcy for real was like a plan B for me, my whole entire life. Bankruptcy was a plan B for me, Section 8. So my mom always taught me government assistance is reparations. So if the government is not giving you food stamps or Section 8 or WIC or a welfare check, you're being robbed from them. So all of these things was in my mind. So I never wanted to be like a successful entrepreneur. Why? The government gonna take care of me. That's my reparations. That is my 40 acres and a mule. Like literally, Lisa, when my mom would get her food stamps, she would say, give me my 40 acres and a mule. You better give me my reparations. So I grew up with that. So here's how I use this vision process to change my life, right? So after a while, I realized that I don't want to be like my mom. Wait a minute, didn't you just say that you don't want to walk in her footsteps? Why are you using bankruptcy as an option? And then now bankruptcy stays on your credit for what? I think at the time it was 8 years. And so here I am 18 with a bankruptcy. Come on, 18, 19. I got to be 20, almost 25 before I could think about doing anything because now I have this thing over my credit. So I'll give you an example. About 9 years ago, I get into my network marketing company, okay? I was broke, I was struggling, and my best friend loaned me the money to get in. So she loaned me $15,000. I get into my network marketing company. My number one thing of everything was to buy a house. Now I have a lot of real estate friends that say buying a house is stupid. Don't buy a house. You loan, you get the loan, you just pay the mortgage, and you diversify, and you do something else with the money, but don't pay the house off. That's stupid. For me, I grew up my whole entire childhood from pillar to post, and then I filed bankruptcy. So for me, buying a house was like, I did it. Paying it off was like, I did it. So I get into network marketing. My credit is bad. The bankruptcy is still on my credit, okay? This is like 10 years ago. Bankruptcy still on my credit. My credit is like a 400. And I'm like, I have my father to take care of. My mom passed away August 26, 2011. I'm holding her hand. And one of the things she asked me on her deathbed, and I didn't know she was dying, by the way, was to take care of my dad. And this is not even my biological dad. This is my brother's dad. She says, take care of your dad. Okay, my mom passes away. My mindset was, just Stormy, figure it out. I got a hard money loan. Mind you, Lisa, my credit score is 4 something. I had just got into my network marketing company. My first 2 months, I went from zero, broke, to making $135,000 in 2 months. So that's like, yes. What was my priority? A house. Stormy, because I was paying rent, and I couldn't even pay the rent. So when I took the hard money loan, I put pressure on myself. I had no choice. Stormy, you have to find the money to pay for this house, or you are going to be homeless. So the vision of me not being homeless, the vision of me having to take care of my dad, because my mom told me that is what she wants me to do. The vision of me not filing bankruptcy again. The vision of me saying I have to bet on myself. The vision of me seeing myself doing the work is when I took the loan. I took the loan, Lisa. I bought the house for $750,000, right? I paid the house off in 18 months.
Wow.
But I saw the house, I saw me with the house paid off. I was willing to do the work. I didn't want to be homeless. And I purposely went into a hard money deal because I didn't want to get comfortable. I think a lot of people put themselves in positions where they could work in comfort. But I think comfortable is actually the thief of joy. I believe comfort is truly the thief of joy. So if you do things to make yourself comfortable, you're never going to get to whatever that end result is that could have been greater than the comfort. So I love to be uncomfortable. Like, I love to do things that I'm scared to do. I love to do things that I've never done before. Like, I'm not afraid to do something for the first time.
I actually completely agree. Part of my own story is that when we started Quest, we put our house up for collateral. Whoa. And so if Quest went under, then we lose our house. So that real almost a consequence can be very powerful for some people. Yeah, the pressure. So I totally understand. So now that you've laid out, which thank you for doing that, now that you've laid out the vision of what you had, what did then that discipline look like? So you've laid out the vision, right? I don't want this, because I do the same actually. I do the things that I want, but I also very much do the things that I don't want. And I find it very powerful to actually do the things that I don't want first, because it really does like put a bit of the healthy fear in me to make sure that I never get there. So once you've painted the picture, these are the things that I don't want, this is what I do want. Now let's say you wake up the next morning. What does the discipline in actions and habits then look like? I
love that. So I'll tell you, I say pressure is a privilege, okay? People need to lean into the pressure. Like, it is truly a privilege. So once the decision is made, now you do have to come up with the discipline. So what is gonna be the things that you maybe don't wanna do, but I tell people whatever you can't do, you must do. Like, that is one of my affirmations. Whatever I can't do, I must do. Whatever I can't do, I must do. So number one, I do believe that when you are on a journey to accomplish something great, you have to wake up in the morning. You know, you have some people that sleep till 2 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I don't understand that. Like, no. So number one, I'm up by like 6:30 in the morning, all right? As soon as I wake up, first of all, I check in with myself. I ask myself, Stormy, how do you feel? Okay? And I'm not in denial about how I feel. I'm tired today. Okay, well, you better get up and go get that money so you can pay that house off. You better get up and do what you got to do. So I honestly assess myself every day. After that, I say a quick little prayer. It could just be, God, thank you for waking me up this morning, okay? I'm not complaining. I'm not whining. I'm not asking for nothing. Just thank you for waking me up this morning. I meditate every day. I meditate with a group of women at 8 o'clock. We have 8 o'clock meditation. If I'm not able to make it, and I've been doing this for 6 years, okay? My community, right? If I'm not able to make it, I take time out for myself and I find time to go into my visualization of what I gotta do, what I experienced that I didn't like. Did I bite my tongue about something? Am I holding back on something? Like, I'm always internalizing how is Stormy doing, but also what can Stormy do better too. So I have a friend that owns a hospice facility. And one of the top 3 things that the dying people talk about is resentment. I don't want to harbor any resentment. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your heart. And putting your body in dis-ease forms disease in the body. And so I don't want to be at dis-ease. I believe my mom died from a broken heart, Lisa. I believe my mom's heart was broken. And for me, when you hold yourself back from things that's bothering you, you're harboring that really inside of your organs. It could be your kidneys hurting. It could be your mind. It could be your heart. People don't understand the adverse reactions that happen to us internally as we are internalizing things that we should have not internalized. So I don't play about that. The minute I really assess myself, what should you have said to that person yesterday? Or what did you not say that you really wanted to say but you were afraid to say it? And I'll call the person or I'll send a video to the person, but I'll find a nice way to say it, because the only reason why I held myself back was because I probably was afraid of their response. But I've learned that authenticity carries the highest frequency. So why would I hold myself back? So those are the things, again, that I feel like is a superpower. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So after my meditation, I believe in moving my body every day. Every day, I'm gonna do some type of workout. Whether it's, I'm not going to the gym. I love the outdoors. I love going for a walk. I will go for a walk. I call it, I have my power time. When I walk, it's like my spiritual time. It's like I get so many downloads, so much confirmations. And so I go for a walk, and I'm big on supplements. I take different supplements every morning, nutritional, from a product called NutriBurst to NRG. I take my supplements and I go for a walk. After my walk, and I've had my downloads, I stretch my body, it's time to go to work. I believe that you should touch new money every day. I ask myself, who got my money today? Yeah, who got my money today?
That's so
yeah, really, like who got my money and who got my peace? And where's my joy? Yeah, who got my money? Who got my peace? Where's my joy? And Stormy, what is gonna be your contribution today? Every single day, my money, my joy, my peace, my contribution. And I believe in living in 4 domains: respect, integrity, character, honor. And that actually spells rich. So people ask me, like, how do you stay rich? Because I have respect, integrity, character, honor.
All right, do you mind breaking down each of those, of how you actually make sure that you hold to those?
Yeah, so number one, respect means I'm gonna respect myself. Like not holding my tongue about something, not being afraid to express something, not being afraid to make sure I'm respecting myself. And it could be with the foods, it could be, did you drink water today, Stormy? Did you eat some fruits or some vegetables today, Stormy? Did you stay true to yourself today, Stormy? So I believe before you can respect anybody else, you have to have self-respect, okay?
I love that you've kind of broken down the respect even in different categories in your life. So like, I will respect my body. Okay, what does respect in my body look like?
Exactly.
Feed it well, fuel it well. I want to respect my mind.
Exactly.
What does that mean? Have I given it space? Am I people-pleasing?
Exactly.
Am I setting boundaries? Am I not setting boundaries? I freaking love that. So let's say you disrespect yourself by allowing someone to talk to you in a manner that disrespects you. How would you then handle it? Because the reason why I want to ask is because a lot of my audience, and myself included, find it quite difficult sometimes to set boundaries, stand up for ourselves. And when you don't stand up for yourself, what are you saying to yourself? That you put yourself last, that person that's talking to you is actually takes priority over you. And so I think that over time, that feeling makes you feel like you're not priority. So I love the self-care. I love putting yourself first and making sure that you are respected. So how do you, if someone disrespects you, how would you approach it? Or give us an example, because this is literally the thing that I think most of us struggle with that stops us from becoming the freaking badass like you.
So when we say the truth,
yes, always.
First, I curse myself out. Like really, I'm talking about like I call myself every name that you could think of. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you stupid? Why did you allow that? Because whatever you tolerate will persist. And if you allow one person to do it, you will allow everybody to do it. And that lowers your vibration. I am a badass. And I am someone that treats other people with respect. Like, I'm gonna do my very best. Like, I'm gonna say please, I'm gonna say thank you. If I ask you to, hey, grab me that water, and I realized that I didn't say please or thank you, I would go back later on and say, did I say please? Did I say thank you? Oh my God, I didn't really mean that. I'm so sorry. And so I am very cognizant of how I show up. And so for me, it's like, if I allow you to treat me any kind of way, that means I'm opening the door for that treatment from everybody. And I used to be that girl. I used to be that girl that let them say anything and do anything. And then what I would do is beat myself up. And I would treat myself like I was dirt. And I realized, no, but let me tell you something. When you stand up for yourself, you don't have to do it in a mean way. I go, hey, how you doing? Yesterday you said something to me and I really want to know, what were you trying to say? Because it's been bothering me. And I can't stop thinking about it. And I don't want my mind to be occupied with the thought of what you said to me yesterday. So I know that you love me, I love you. Because if we're in proximity, I care about you and you care about me. I don't just let anybody around. So if you say something that's out of line or didn't sit well with me, I will ask. So like my operations director, she's a Latino woman. And I love her to pieces. She is amazing. And sometimes I remind her that you're Latino, but I'm a Black girl. And I would say to her, if she says something that doesn't sit well, I would say, okay, in my community, you don't say those type of things. Let me explain to you what that meant. And she'll say, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm saying, okay, that's what it meant. So communication, words mean different things to different people, you know? And so ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And there's a lot of relationships I believe could have been salvaged to this very day if we just communicate, like, let's talk. So I feel empowered, Lisa, when I defend myself, when I respect myself. And respecting yourself is, I don't like what you said. Like, I'm in a relationship. If my guy did something I don't like, I won't say it right on the spot. I will let some time pass because I don't want to sound like the aggressive woman. I'll let some time pass and then I'll say, hey babe, what did you mean by that? I know that you wouldn't say anything to hurt me intentionally, but it's been on my mind. And you'll be surprised how that alone will bring your relationship closer together, and that person will respect you more because you have boundaries and you set, respect for yourself. So that's important, and it's important more for you than it is for that person because it makes you realize that you're not just taking anything. And then you'll do this with your boss, with your friends, with your coworkers, with your man, with your wife, because you now know that it's okay. Just don't be confrontational.
I love that so much. And the fact that you don't lower yourself to their level of, actually, in fact, you give someone the grace, like with your Latina friend, where it's like, give her the grace that she didn't necessarily mean it. But let me teach her, let me say it. You didn't swallow your own opinions, which I think is also powerful because again, if you swallow it, you're telling yourself that you're less important. So the fact that you vocalized it, the fact that you gave her the grace to educate her was wonderful. But then the other side of it is that you don't, if someone did, let's say, even mean it and they meant to disrespect you, you don't lower yourself to their level. And I think that that's the key because most people don't have the courage to speak up. And when I personally found the courage to speak up and set a boundary, I sounded like the freaking chihuahua that was just barking because, and it doesn't come across well. No. Now you're the one that's emotional. Now you then get pigeonholed emotional. So the fact that you're able to do it with transparency, honesty, respect, I think almost doesn't give really anyone else a place to go except for either greet you with the respect or push back.
Listen, let me tell you a great way too. What did you mean by that? I touched the person. Listen, yesterday you really hurt my feelings. And I know that you would never do that intentionally. Watch this. Even if I know they did it intentionally, I would say, what did you mean by that? That really hurt my feelings. And it gives you such this power. So touch them. Because listen, when you feel powerless, you can't do anything. And when you allow someone to make you feel powerless, listen, when your emotions is high, your logic is low. And so we don't have that type of time. So when you are vulnerable with pain and vulnerable with something that offended you, and you tell somebody else, it also makes them look at you like, wow, she has feelings. Because sometimes us strong women come across like nothing bothers us. Nothing bothers us. We're okay. Everything is just no problem. No, that hurt my feelings. No, that offended me. And so respect starts with first respecting yourself, right? So integrity. Integrity is very high on my list. I'll give you a good one. You pee on the toilet seat by mistake. Wipe the toilet seat off. Like when we finish, I gotta flush the toilet upstairs. I can't stop thinking about that. No.
It automatically flushes.
Okay, well,
So
see,
you're good.
I can't, thank you, so I can get it off my mind. You see, it's on my mind, like what's good? It needs to flush. That's integrity. Integrity is, I know I didn't flush the toilet, I need to flush it. Integrity is, the paper dropped on the floor, I dropped it, pick it up. Back in the days, I used to say, you know, when you litter, you're giving somebody a job. Now I say, no, respect Mother Earth. This is Mother Earth. Don't throw a paper on the floor. So integrity is saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and living your message. Your message. I think the messenger has to become the message. And a lot of people, they talk, but the message doesn't align with the messenger. So integrity for me is everything. I believe that your character and integrity could take you places and keep you places that hustle and money can.
Oh, dude, so the integrity thing, let's just talk about that for a second, because I'd heard the word, I kind of knew what it meant. I am living in integrity, until one person made it so succinct, almost like a math equation, that I was like, that's super easy to remember. How you think, does it echo what you say? And then what you say, does it echo what you act? And so I now almost on a daily go, oh, I thought this, did I act in accordance? And it's made me have some very uncomfortable conversations. So I'm actually in this big text chain with a lot of people. And it was just, it started to feel out of alignment. Like people originally were like being there to support each other. And then it just became a like, who's got the biggest following? And you know, it just became very, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm in alignment anymore with how I feel about the text chain and how I respond to the text chain. And so I just very consciously had to say, all right, Lisa, what does alignment look like to you? And instead of beating myself up over the fact that I'm doing it, just stop and pause and say, what does it look like? And then act in freaking accordance, even if it's hard. And so I said, oh, it just means being honest and not saying anything that I really don't believe it's true. And if this doesn't feel in alignment with me, don't respond to the text chain and just, you know, silence the text chain. And so that gave me the actions, right? So thinking about what integrity means, then painting the picture of what integrity looks like, and then taking the action so that at the end of the day, when you're by yourself, you can be proud of yourself.
I was just gonna say that. To me, people have to put more credit on being proud of yourself. Like, are you proud of yesterday? If you're not proud of yesterday, do something different today. You know, no matter what happens today, know that tomorrow's coming. So do everything today to make tomorrow better. That's integrity. Integrity is, I gained 30 pounds and I don't feel good about it. Let me do something about it. For me, integrity is doing what you say you're gonna do even when nobody is looking. And so that for me, I think has made me consistent, because I don't ever want to be looked upon as a liar. So I purposely also, let me tell you what I do. I put things out there. Like, for example, the mission of my life is to be one of the most impactful women that ever lived. You can't say that, and then the minute you get an impact, because impact attracts attacks, right? So you can't say you're gonna be impactful and somebody hurts your feelings and you quit. Or you're gonna be so impactful, but something didn't go your way and you quit. You're fake. So I talk to myself like that. Like, I don't have to wait for somebody to tell me, you're fake. No, because I would tell myself, oh, you're gonna be the most impactful woman that ever lived, but you lazy. Oh, no, the impactful woman wakes up in the morning and meditates. So I also do personal development every morning. I listen to some type of audiobook on YouTube University. So when I don't do what I'm supposed to do, like, let's say yesterday morning I slept into like 7:30. I didn't do my personal development at 6:30 like normal, but I still did it at 11. Nobody knew. That's my own personal integrity measure, okay? Character, that's everything. Character is why I'm sitting here with you. If I didn't have good character when I saw you, I met you almost 3 years ago. I could have been a BITCH and you could be like, who is that lady? I don't care if she's the best network marketer, who cares? It's something about my countenance and my character and how I showed up that made you say, bring her over here. Let me interview her. So I'm big on character. I think that character shows up when you're not even talking. Character is your body language. Character is the things you also say. You know, character is, can you be trusted? with your blessings. That's big to me. A lot of people start having success and you can't be trusted anymore. They have nasty attitudes. They treat people mean. I'm going to treat the bus boy like I treat the owner of the building. I'm going to say, please, thank you, I appreciate you. I try to look people in the eyes all the time. Like, my character to me is why I continue to elevate.
Did you write that out before, or did that evolve over time? Because I don't think people have utter awareness of how they show up and how their character is. Like, it's almost like people just, I think, have the idea that my character is who I show up to be. But it seems like you're so damn deliberate. So how did you become so deliberate in your character?
So I believe that man is maker of himself.
Okay.
Man is made and unmade by his daily choices, actions, and decisions. I tell you, there was a time where a lot of people said a lot of things about me that I didn't like. And so I started to observe, okay, it's a lot of people saying things that I don't like.
Do you mind sharing what they were?
Yeah, like, I tell you, like, I am a very aggressive businesswoman. Like, in my network marketing company, people call me like a drill sergeant, right? And I don't think I'm a drill sergeant. I just think I don't want to be broke another day in my life. And if I meet you and I'm working with you, we have work to do, right? But I also don't like how that feels. I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like how people would say that. And I started to realize, Stormy, be a drill sergeant for you. Be your drill sergeant. If she doesn't want to be pushed that aggressively, don't do it. So when I kept hearing, like, drill sergeant, she's mean. And I'm not mean, I'm just direct. So I said, okay, I don't like that 20 people are saying the same things about me. Something has to be true about it. I take responsibility. Too many people are saying these things about me. Okay, Stormy, so what are you gonna do about it? So I read this book called The Untethered Soul, and it's really about observing yourself. So I looked at myself, I said, okay, Stormy, that is a little aggressive. Like, at one point, I wouldn't eat on Mondays.
Just wouldn't eat?
No food on Mondays. And that was my belief. But I kind of, when I want to do something, I want you to do it too. So everybody around me, nobody eats on Mondays. That's not character, that's not integrity. I don't want to eat on Monday. That don't have nothing to do with you. If you don't want to eat on Mondays, if you want to eat on Monday, eat. So I observed myself and I realized that Stormy pushed them to the level that they want to be pushed. I realized, like, okay, I might not eat fried chicken, but that ain't got nothing to do with you. If you want to eat Popeye's chicken, by all means, I'm not going to tell you what to do. So as I started to observe myself up against the things people would say about me, even when I would go back and watch my lives, I would notice, like, when I would do a live, certain lives sound like I'm mad or I'm mean or I'm cursing somebody out. And I'm like, oh, I don't like how that look. Or I would get into somebody's energy, or I'll come around somebody and I'll be like, oh, I don't like how she acts. I don't like how she makes people feel. And so I would say to myself, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to show up like that. And so I really designed myself to be exactly who and how I am. Like, I designed myself. It's not like a default. And then I watch myself. And let me tell you what I do. I don't know if you do this, but I want to share this with all of you all. When you're growing and you start, like, reading books and getting around new people, you start to hear what you would have said versus what you say. Does that happen to you?
Yes, all the time.
Really? I got goosebumps. So, like, I would have been like, fucking bitch. But then I'd be like, hey, girl, how you doing? And I'd be like, wow, Stormy. And I celebrate myself internally at the moment. So if somebody does something to offend me, I hear what I would have did. But then the new me says, what did you mean by that? So I really observe myself. It's like I hear the other voice and then I hear the new voice.
Yes.
Does that happen to you?
Yes. In fact, it happened fairly recently. I was watching some sort of TV show or something. I hadn't seen some actor or something in a long time. And immediately, so as soon as I saw them, they put on a lot of weight. And so immediately in my head, I was like, oh, they've put on weight. And I caught my thought and I was like, how judgmental are you, Lisa?
There you go, so good.
And in that moment, I was like, how often did I do it in the past and didn't realize?
Yes.
So the fact that I caught myself, I caught the judgment, and then I processed why in that real time. And I was like, why do you do this? I was like, oh, because it makes you feel better about yourself when you're feeling badly.
Wow.
And so having that acknowledgement then made me go, why do you feel badly about yourself? So the thought before would have just been an external thing that I'm thinking to judge someone else. But in real time, I caught the thought, I acknowledged the thought, I processed the thought, I identified the thought, and then came to my own sensitive conclusion of like, oh, right now you don't feel good about yourself.
Wow.
Amazing. So what are you going to do to feel good about yourself instead of commenting about some poor person on, some poor woman who's put on weight on camera? It's like, well, stop judging. So it really helped me. But I love that you said that, because I think that does come with the growth, is that you go from thinking it and never even realize you're thinking it, to then acknowledge it and think, and it actually influences you to act differently.
Exactly. So good. I feel good about myself. So I do that all the time. And then H is honor.
Thank you for taking us through the rituals.
Yes, I'm not going to forget. I believe your life truly becomes a manifestation of the people, the things that you honor and that you dishonor. Meaning, a lot of people don't honor people that's been good to them. Like, never forget those that helped you in your time of need, those that hurt you in your time of need, and those that left you in your time of need.
Ooh.
Like, so I name my years, right? So this year and last year is I'm bad. B-A-D. B-A-A-D. Bold, aligned, ascending, and debt-free. And debt-free doesn't mean money. Debt-free means, Stormy, don't forget everything you said you was gonna do. Don't forget everybody that helped you along the way. So like I tell you, about 3 weeks ago, I went to the next level mastermind that Eric and Marina Worry had at their home.
I love them so much.
I love
Big
them.
shout out to the Worries.
I love them. And when they saw me, I saw Marina her eyes got a little teary. And I could tell she didn't think, like, they were surprised I was there. I got goosebumps. Like, y'all changed my life. How could I not be here? Like, if I'm not here, you first of all, you would know. You're not gonna look up and you're like, where's Stormy? I honor them. I honor the role they played in my life. So not only did I need the wisdom, but I also need y'all to know that I'm gonna be the person that you are gonna know that you can rely on to always be there. I just take pride in knowing that I'm making somebody else feel good about their contribution to my life, you know? So honor to me is everything. Be careful of who you dishonor. I still believe in honor your mother and the father. I still believe in that. I still believe in honoring and respecting the people that are older than you, that are more smarter than you, that are more wiser than you. I still believe in the honor system. I believe that a part of why I'm so blessed, like last week I bought my dad a new car. My dad is 76. Every 3 years he gets a new Range Rover, right? And last week he goes by himself to trade it in, and he was gonna get a black Range Rover with a black top with no sunroof, right? And I don't know why he was afraid to tell me, but my best friend was at my house and she goes, I need to tell you something. I said, what's wrong? She said, your dad doesn't want that Range Rover he's getting. I'm like, well, why would he? So apparently the salesman was moving fast and just wanted to get him in a car. So I said, first of all, thank you for telling me. So we went to the car lot and I said, Dad, listen to me. I'm getting this car for you because it makes me proud to know that as your daughter, I could afford to do these things for you. But it also makes me feel good to know that you are happy with what you got. Dad, what do you want? I said, tell me exactly what you want, because that's what I want to get for you. He said, I want a white Range Rover, I want beige seats, I want a sunroof, and I want a baseboard. I turned to the salesman and I said, you heard what he said? Lisa, we went upstairs. It was one car, the exact one that my dad wanted. And I said, Dad, this is what I'm talking about. It's not the money. I want you to be proud. He's 76 years old. He's on 0 medication. And I want to tell you, I could see his new life now. He gets dressed up. He feels like a kid in his new car. So for me, that's my dad. I messed up his credit when I was 15 years old. Well, not 15, when I was 18 years old, he bought a car for me and his credit score was 850. I messed up his credit. He never ridiculed me for it. I can never forget that. He taught me how to drive. When I opened up my first business, he gave me money. And I mentioned to him, Dad, I said, Dad, I remember what I did. He was like, you remember that? I said, Dad, you know why I take care of you? You think you think I'm gonna forget? And this is not my biological dad. My biological dad is around. But my stepdad, which is my brother's dad, which is my dad, is the one who taught me everything. So I love my dad, but I do treat my other dad a little different because he's the one who was there for me. And for me, Lisa, that's honor. My mom is deceased. If you walk into my house, I have an altar with her picture. I have some of her favorite snacks there. I put candles there. I buy fresh flowers every week. She passed away in 2011. I have a picture of her outside. I talk to the picture. I believe she's here with me right now. She's probably sitting right here right now. That's honor. You know, my mom never had a chance to become a millionaire. My mom never drove a Rolls Royce. My mom never had millions of dollars in the bank. My mom never made an impact like I've been able to impact. So for me, my life is honoring my mom. And I would live like that to the day I die. And I think that's a part of why I stay disciplined, because I have to honor the people that helped me in my time of need. The owner of my company helped me in my time of need. I remind him all the time, you're always gonna have me to count on. I know people left you. I know people, mimicked your company and left, But because I am a woman of integrity and good character, I am going to continue to be here. And so I think that keeps me disciplined, my level of honor, even to the public. I would tell the public something just because I know once I tell them, I'm not going to take it back. I'm never going to take back something I said. My goal is 1,000 millionaires before I die. I've coached 139 first generational millionaires. Wow. And I am not going to stop until there's 1,000 millionaires, even if I do it at the age of 100. I am never going to stop working, and that keeps me disciplined.
God, girl, the level of attention and emotional soberness is the word that came to mind.
Wow.
Where it's like you're able to see all of these areas of how it's important for you to show up. And as you were breaking down, like for your mom and for your dad, like everything seems very deliberate in the sense of, you know, that this helps you with your mindset, with your confidence, with how you show up. And so even when it's tough, you hold true to it. And I think that that's the point, is that most people, when it isn't easy, is when we end up not doing it, right? So, because like anything, it's easy to do something when things are going well.
That's
and,
right.
so it's easy to honor someone when they honor you.
That's
it's
right.
hard to honor someone when they're disrespecting you. It's hard to show up with integrity when you've got other people trying to rip you down. So the rich acronym that you just broke down is very hard to do, but even harder when you've got pushback all along the way. So how do you start setting boundaries to make sure that you're able to show up with integrity, character, and honor?
All right, so not to get to like, I'm not religious, I'm very spiritual. But, as Jesus was being crucified, he prayed a prayer. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? For me, anytime somebody tries to go against me, I know it has nothing to do with me, because I'm a woman of respect, integrity, character, and honor. Why would you treat me that way? Why would you talk to me that way? Why would you not be fair with me? I'm not going to cheat you. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to gossip. I'm going to be everything that I say that I'm going to be and that I'm supposed to be. And when people don't do what they're supposed to do, I don't take it personal. I actually feel sorry for them. I actually pity them.
Have you always done that? Because it's so freaking hard to not take it All right, so let's break that down, because this is, again, I'm always trying to think about, right, when I'm sitting with amazing women, like, where do we get trapped so much that you become the anomaly, right? Because it's like, ideally, we're not the anomaly, and most women are able to take these actions. So when I think about what holds us back, it's the fact that we don't set boundaries. People do act a certain way. We do take it personally. We go internal. We think it means that we're bad, we're stupid, we're dumb, we're incompetent, we're ugly, we're, fill in the blank. How the hell then, knowing that's probably something that holds a lot of us back, where we then don't live in rich, we don't live in the integrity, the character, and the honor, and the respect. How have you gone then from someone that would have taken it personally once upon a time, that can be so emotionally sober, to say, I don't take it personally?
So I'll tell you the truth. I am a Black woman. I'm a very Black woman. When I say very Black, I do a lot of Black stuff.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I tell you, so I get in a lot of rooms. Like, I have a lot of white friends, a lot of different Asian friends, Chinese friends, Japanese friends. And one of the things that's important to me is to hold my identity as a Black woman. Let me tell you what that means. I've seen, and I don't know if you've ever heard this. Have you ever heard of Uncle Tom?
Yes. It's an American phrase, but for those people that are not in America watching, if you don't mind explaining.
I'll tell you. So for us, an Uncle Tom, for us, is like a Black person that acts white, that they're still Black, but they try to talk white, they try to act white, they disconnect from Black stuff, right? Like, I really kind of want to stop cursing, right? Sometimes it helps me to express myself. And this could be a limiting belief. I don't know, but for me, I feel like that's a part of my Blackness. Like, fuck, I'm gonna say a little curse word every now and then. But fuck means P-H-U-C-K, that's how I spell it. It means people hate, you can't create. That's what it really
so
means.
much.
And create, spelled with the K, means to forge your own history for your own good.
Oh, so good.
I want to be in the rooms with other ethnic backgrounds. And I am in a lot of those rooms, Lisa. And I gotta tell you the truth. When I get in those rooms, there's no Black people. And I used to be like, taking it personal, like, why no Black people here? But I know why. Because somebody gotta bring them. Me. I feel like I am responsible for elevating economically the culture. And economic elevation everywhere for me is not just money, because money is really last. I'm talking about real money. I'm talking about semi-passive, passive income, being able to do what you want when you want and have the money to do it. It's a mindset. I think that people don't have a money problem. You have a mindset problem. So I've helped, and I need you to hear this, right? I've helped in my 16-year career as a network marketer, 139 different individuals become the first generational millionaires in their family. A lot of them, I don't talk to them anymore. And I'll tell you why. I took a lot of stuff personal, and so did they. If I could go back, I would have been a little different. I wouldn't have taken things personal. I wouldn't have pushed you as hard as I did. Like, I don't regret it, because I know for sure the reason why a lot of them had the success that they've had is because the type of leader I was. You go check back with those people now, they were doing better when they had me in their life. And I don't say that to be condescending or cocky, it's the truth. Mentorship is amazing, especially the right mentorship, aligned mentorship. So when I look back at what I used to do and how I used to show up, very emotional, my feelings hurt. I would curse you out in a New York minute, okay? I was the one that, oh, you want to talk crazy to me? I'm gonna show you. But you ever saw someone that you looked at as a giant and they act like a child? You ever see somebody have a lot of light and then they lose it? Mm-hmm. Like they were winning, they were on top of their game, and then you're like, what happened to her? Mm-hmm. I believe it's because they fell out of respect, integrity, character, honor. I believe that you're supposed to practice the principles to participate in the promise. And I look at how you look when you act unprofessional or when you're judgmental, and I've seen it in action, and I don't want to be that person. You know, I've had some amazing mentors that lost touch with reality. I'll never forget this. I was in this company, and I was a top earner in this company, the top earning female, and I got pregnant and I got sick. And when I got sick, I couldn't work. And I was told that, you know, they would support me, they'll have my back. Like, it was we had a community. When you hit the top leadership rank in that company, you would get protected and you would get support, and allegedly you'll never be broke another day in your life. So I really believe that. But then when I needed the support from them, they were gone. And so when I experienced that, that really changed everything for me. I said I would never be the person to say something and show up as the opposite. Like with me, what you see is what you get. Would I cuss somebody out right now? Probably not. But the old me, I was ready. But I don't want my daughter to see that. I definitely don't want people who look at me as a woman with the utmost integrity to see me do those type of things. So I think about the aftermath of my actions all the time. I think about the effect of my actions all the time. And I believe that I'd rather be the example than the excuse. So because that is my belief, and I could be wrong, but it just keeps me aligned. It keeps me disciplined. You're never gonna look at me and say, she's a liar. You're never gonna make me a liar, because I'm never gonna be that. If I said I'm gonna do it, if I started, I'm gonna finish it. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how challenging it gets, I'm never gonna be the person that you're gonna say is a liar. You can't make me a liar, because I said it, I'm gonna do it.
I respect that so much. How do you then separate the two, where it's like, okay, this action where I'm cursing someone out and actually I'm not proud of it, I need to change this, versus someone else saying to you, you know, it's not very professional that you show up and you swear, right? Like where they're trying to change the fundamental person of who you are versus characteristics that maybe show up that don't serve you in your future self that you're trying to, the person you're trying to become.
I'll tell you this, and I learned this and it changed my life. I believe we listen in three ways. We listen, number one, to judge. We listen to understand, or we listen to defend. And I feel that more people need to learn how to listen to understand. Never judge a man by his success, but by what he had to overcome to be successful. Mm-hmm. Like, I purposely have this tattoo on my leg.
I love it.
Why? I want you to see me coming. I want you to know that I'm different. Tattoos give you a different energy. It makes you look like a badass. I know that. Mm. I could have wore a long skirt or some pants and hid my tattoo. No, but I want people to see my tattoo so they could tune in and they could not judge. So don't think I'm something that I'm not. When you judge, you are now held to that judgment as well. Nobody wants that, right? Like, who wants to walk around and every room they walk in and every door they walk through, they're judging, oh, she must be this because look at her hair. She must be that. Look at that big old watch. Who does she think she is? Oh, look at that big old necklace. Who is this lady?
I do get that comments though.
But that's so ignorant.
Yeah, agreed.
And I want people to learn to understand, Lisa. Understand me. Why am I the way I am? find out, to me, if you see, now granted, if you just unprofessional, ghetto, and just crazy and just like ignorant, that's different, right? But if you see the other side, to me, learn a little bit more. Why don't you take the time to find out, okay, what is it about Lisa why Lisa like those big watches? There's a reason. There's a story behind the big watch.
It's like my cuffs, Wonder Woman.
See? Well, look, it makes you feel like a superhero,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
There's a story behind your hair,
Yeah.
right?
I was sick and I've had massive health issues for 9 years. My hair started falling out. So the hair that I used to hate, that was really frizzy and big and Greek, that I used to get teased over, now I was losing it. And I wished I'd honored my hair more.
I got
goosebumps.
goosebumps.
So it gave me an opportunity to then just play with it and be like, well, you hate your hair anyway, Lisa. Just, you may as well have fun with it. And it was in the fun that I shaved the back. And I felt so empowered by it. And then the braids ended up being like, yeah, I feel like a fucking badass. I'm going to keep it. So you're dead,
you see what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I believe that in order for you to be interesting, people have to be interested in you.
Yeah.
If you was regular, boring, I'm going to tell you, what attracted me to you at first was your look.
Yeah, you too. Me too, when I saw you.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this lady? Like, she is a badass. I know it. I could feel it. Like, if you just would have had on a long dress and some curls and none of this, I'd be like, oh, she's another regular. But your look attracted me. I was like, okay, I wanna see more. I wanna know more about the story behind all of this uniqueness that you have.
When you're a woman of a certain age, you might start feeling a little bit of pain or discomfort during intercourse, or even you just feel embarrassed or ashamed by the fact that your body is changing. And as a result, you end up having less sex. But sexual health is health. And that's why I'm so thrilled to introduce you to Taboo. Now, through science-backed methods to address the underlying causes of pain, dryness, low libido, and more, Taboo has helped tens of thousands of us women get an important part of their lives back, and that's sex. 76% of women using Taboo products as part of their sexual wellness routine reported an increase in their self-confidence. And that's not even to mention the decreased pain with sex and increased libido. Now, Taboo's Golden Hour Kit includes everything that you need to confidently kick off and maintain your sexual wellness routine. Click the link below, guys, and use coupon code LISA15 to save 15% off your order. Can I then be honest with you as well? Then I love this. I thought that what captivated me about you is the fact that you're a Black woman who carries herself with confidence and doesn't pretend to be anyone else. And I find that extremely attractive because I, as like the little girl, really wanted that. Like I was I was in admiration a lot when I was younger of seeing women that carried themselves in a way where they make no apologies.
Yep.
And when I saw you, I was like, oh, you make no apologies. And it isn't just that you make no apologies, it's that you own who you are. So like you said with your tat. And now you put it together with what we've traditionally been taught of women with tattoos and they act like this and they got jewelry, right? How you perceive them to the reality. And I'm like, wow, you're this incredibly successful woman who doesn't take shit, who has respect for others. Like I saw all of this in the moment that I met you, of how you were interacting with Marina, how much you showed your respect. I saw you with your fans, how much grace you gave them. So I was like, it was interesting that you didn't fit into a bucket. And the idea that you didn't fit into a bucket was attractive to me because I want to keep being that person.
Wow.
So I think to the same point, if you had tried to minimize who you were, if you tried to cover up, if you tried to be your inauthentic self, that isn't the true, woman that shows up today, tat, jewelry and all, I wouldn't have been as attracted to you.
Exactly. You know what's so interesting? I had that question come up the other day, like, why do you do it? And you just hit it on the head and you gave me, thank you. You gave me confirmation because I want to be different. I don't want to blend in. And for a long time, Lisa, I was afraid of myself. I didn't want you to see me. I didn't want you to ask me no questions because what if I didn't know the answer? That's why I tell people the greatest project you could work on is yourself. You should always work on 2 projects, yourself as a project and a project. Because I want to be ready when people like you approach me. Like, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So the only way that you stay ready so you don't have to get ready is if you're always in preparation mode, right? So for me, I want to be that person that number one, you see, right? And sometimes it may be the jury. Like normally, like this is very light. But, honestly, I think that as I grow more mature too, my energy enters the room before I even enter the room. And that's important. And I think that most people need to understand that for me, do whatever you got to do to get attention. Money follows attention. Do whatever you got to do to get attention. Just make sure when the spotlight is on you, you're ready. You know, Judge Mathis, do you know Judge Mathis?
No.
Okay, Judge Mathis, is the longest standing judge that's been on TV. So I don't know if you've ever seen a judge show.
Yeah, I love those.
Okay, so Judge Mathis was on for like 35 years.
Whoa.
And he was someone that I, connected with. And I never forget, he said, Stormy, let me tell you something. As you evolve and you get around, this was his exact words, those white people, they're gonna tell you to calm down, don't be so this, don't be so that. He said, let me tell you something. The reason why I've been on TV for so long is because I stay authentically me. However, grow in your authenticity, but don't change. He said, that little spiciness you got, that little edge, that is what makes you separate from everybody else. He said, I'm begging you. He said, I know you're gonna go on to do great things. He said, don't lose that little spice you have. That's what makes you unique, and that's what's gonna give you longevity. So that's why I'm always learning new things. I read something recently about, and I know you heard about the Ikigai, right? You know about the Blue Zone?
Yes. The
Do you know
blue
the
zones are
story?
where they live till over 100.
So do you know the 4 things they live on? The 4 philosophies?
No.
It's called the Ikigai. And the 4 philosophies they live on is number 1, do only what you're good at. Do only what you love. Do what makes you money, and find your way of contributing to humanity. That's how they live. They don't believe in anything else but those 4 philosophies. And for me, like once I understood that too, it took me to a whole nother level because like I try to hire my weaknesses. If I don't like to do it, I'm not gonna do it. Because I understand that to stay elevated, you have to do your very best in everything. And I'm very big on working in the spirit of excellence. And even though I'm not perfect, none of us are perfect, my goal is to try to be as excellent as I can so that when I do show up with the tattoo, when I do show up with the diamonds, they're like, oh, I love when people say, you're not what I thought you were.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, Lisa. I've had people, can I give you a hug? Why? I want to apologize to you. I'm like, why? I judged you, I misunderstood you, and I want to say thank you. And I just want to hug you. Everywhere I go, people say, can I please give you a hug? Because they've judged me some way or another, and they just want to tell me sorry. And I always say, keep that energy. Don't judge anybody, because you never judge a man by his success, but what he had to overcome. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I was in a foster care at 7 years old. Like, can you give me some grace for that? I was molested at 9. My mom's boyfriend, she left us with her boyfriend. To this very day, this man stayed in the room and played with himself all day, every day. The water was off. I had to go turn the water back on. I'm 13. I had to pay the water bill. I had my first child at 15. I was a stripper at 13. I had 2 kids by the age of 19. I had my 3rd child married. I was married and divorced. I've been through, there was days I literally, Lisa, I wanted to kill myself. The only reason why I'm still here, honestly, is because I was afraid that I was not going to succeed at my suicidal attempt. That's the only reason why I have not tried to actually do it. Every time I was there with the pills, I was like, what if it doesn't work? And now here I am messed up or crazy or whatever. So I know what it feels like to be depressed and suppressed and suicidal. And I was told I had ADHD, and all these negative things. So I could relate to everybody. And so being a woman I am today, for me, people should be proud. Be proud that here's a woman, forget black, here's a woman that has become something against every odd was stacked against her. I watched my mom take her last breath. I thought she was having an anxiety attack. I never forget that visual. Like, I see her eyes rolling. I see what her body did. I'll never forget at 9 years old, I'm taking a shower and my brother jumps in and I'm thinking he had a fight because he was a fighter. He always had fights. But I look up and half his skull is gone. To this very day, my brother has half a head. Like, I didn't have therapy. I never saw a psychiatrist. And I'm not asking people to be me, but don't even judge yourself. Know that everything you went through was for a purpose. And do not, under no circumstances, fall into victim, because when you fall into victim, it's over. You're basically saying, this happened to me, not for me, and there's nothing I could do about it. Instead, take those situations, take those obstacles, take those things that you've experienced, and allow them to be a bridge that take you to somewhere greater than you currently are. And that's just my story. And I feel like when I tell my story, my goal is for other people to look at me and be like, either I'm playing too small. When you look at me, I want you to say, either I'm playing too small, or if she could do it, I can do it too. So I show up, I'm very transparent. I don't know if you know, May 4th last year, I had butt shots removed.
So literally that was going to be my next question because I want to tie everything together. So you even say, right, you get people that are just like, hey, you should be a bit less, like don't be too much. When you've got goals and dreams, I think we often will just go, oh, okay, you want me to do that to get to my goal and dream? Cool. I love that you had just laid out what you've been through, where you are now, what you didn't succumb to, how you held strong. And now part of the journey that I think a lot of us go on is we get out of we fall to our knees and we've just gotten back up and now we're damn proud. Phew, I've gotten back up. I'm finally here. Okay, I'm never going to get back there again. Yep. And then something happens again. When that second something happens, we either retreat back, go into shame and guilt, and we just hide everything because we're like, now people see us in a certain light. They see me as confident. They see me as badass. The last thing I want is to then change anyone's idea of how they see me because I've worked really hard to get here. Yep. So then what people do is on the way up, they then hide themselves more because they're protecting all the things they've built. Yep. So now going to the fact that you got butt injections and you are so open and honest about it that I'd love for you to share the story about what happened and then how the hell you had the confidence to share the story. Because if someone's listening at home, how do we make sure that when they get back up, they don't feel like they keep falling back down again? I think this is the perfect story to showcase how you don't have to keep falling back down.
So good. So I'm a stripper at 19, right? I go to work, and this is a true story. And I go to work one day, I work at this famous club, it's called Club Rolex. This was the popping club in Miami. And I go to work one day, and all the girls got big booties. I'm like, wait a minute. Saturday, y'all butts wasn't this big. I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody's, Lisa, I'm talking about beautiful, round butts. And all the girls, and they working, all the guys are dancing the girls, and I'm standing there, nobody wants to dance me. And I was popular in the club. Like I made great money. I would make, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a night, a night in a strip club. And so I go to work one day, everybody's fine, I'm not making no money. Day one go by, I'm not making no money. Day two go by, I'm not making no money. Week one go by, I'm like, wait a minute. You have to pay like $150, it's called tip out, or a DJ fee to dance. So I'm not even making...
As a stripper, you have to pay?
Yes.
What?
What? It's called DJ fee. So you got to pay like $150. I don't know what it is now, but you got to pay. So I'm not even making my money back. I'm like, this is crazy. And I found out that there was these transsexuals doing butt shots. Like you literally call them at your house and they bring the stuff and they do the booty shots. And you could go back to work the same day. Back then, there wasn't no BBLs. There was no doctor doing booty, nothing. It was just liposuction, breast augmentation, that's it. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, I'm never doing that. But I got bills to pay. So week 1, week 2, week 3, I'm not doing it. But I'm literally, Lisa, I'm going broke. Like I can't pay my bills. I can't take care of my kids. My kid, I didn't have a daughter then. I went to my gay friend's house one day, and this is like my best friend. And he walking around with this cotton on his butt, and his butt big. I'm like, what did you do? He said, girl, I got so-and-so, she could do. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, girl, I call him she, girl, your booty is flat. You're gonna be broke. If you don't figure it out, you better figure it out. And I said, you know what? You're right. That peer pressure got me. I never forget this, Lisa. It was on his couch. I laid on his couch. Lisa, I probably got 3 shots each cheek. I said, stop. Mind you, this is deep. They said it was medical grade silicone. They closed it with crazy glue. Listen
my God.
No, I want you to hear this. This is what I did. I did this at 19 years old. They shoot the allegedly medical grade silicone. They put the crazy glue and then they put cotton on top of it. And then like an hour later, oh my God. An hour later, you soak in the tub with baby oil, and as you soak in the tub, the cotton falls off. Oh, shit. I did it. Oh my God, Lisa, when I got out the tub, I was fine. I couldn't wait to go to work. I went to work. I made so much money. Baby, I was in business. My butt was fine. Everything was fine. Soft, beautiful, nice, everything. Perfect round, like the perfect, picture the perfect butt. 10 years later, ugly. It turns black. It's like, it's lumpy. Wow. It's deformed. I go to doctors, they're like, 19, I did the shots at 19. It didn't start deforming until about 30. Doctors like, leave it alone, leave it alone. People started dying. I started hearing about people dying from it. The lady, the transsexual who did my injections, she's in jail. She killed people. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to live. And last year, my 43rd birthday, I got in contact with a doctor in Colombia. It wasn't hurting me. I didn't have any pain. And he was like, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. He treated me so amazingly well. I did all the blood work. I did everything. I did the scans. And I got it removed. And I'm going to tell you something. I read this book called Becoming Like God. And the book was talking about the number one way that you step out of the realm of God is ego. Like, ego is deep. Ego has its own mind. If you could kill your ego, you could become like unstoppable. And it's crazy because I read that book before the surgery. And I was embarrassed. Like, that's not nothing you want to brag about. I got butt shots. It affected my relationships. I would date guys and I would be embarrassed to take my clothes off. I would be embarrassed to turn around because it started to deform. But let me tell you something. When I did the removal, I said, this is my greatest way to make sure that I remove my ego. If you're willing to tell the world and to show the world, like, I don't know if you know, I posted it on social media and everything.
Yeah.
Like, they literally cut my butt open and peeled it back. Did you see it?
I didn't know. I can't see things like that. I'm so squirmish.
Listen, they literally, they cut it like this. They peeled it back, peeled it like a banana, took everything out. For 2 months. I healed for 2 months. If it wasn't for my support team, Vanessa, and my spiritual practices, I could not hardly walk. I had to do everything standing up. Number one, number two, standing up. I couldn't really take showers. I had to have it bandaged. And I purposely put it out there for 2 reasons. Number one, I wanted to kill my ego. I don't have no pride, no shame, no guilt, none of that. And I wanted to do that. Like, I was so excited to let the world know. And number two, I wanted to help other women. Like, that's very big in the Black and Latino community. Getting bipolymers and butt shots is very serious. And a lot of women have had it, and they're gonna need a place to get it removed. And I trust the doctor that I went to. So I did it, number one, to help other women, but also I don't have an ego. And now I'm natural and it's healed. I could do everything you could do.
Let me just say, actually, thank you for sharing that, because I know that a lot of women, like, we almost admire the story, but then would fear doing it ourselves, right? And so for me, it's always like, anytime that I fear of saying something out loud, it means I have to say it.
That's right.
Because it's my ego speaking, and my ego is trying to protect me from being embarrassed, feeling the shame. So I'm like, okay, well, this just means that I need to do it in order to get over it. Because I think one or two things would have happened. A, is exactly what you did. You let go of your ego, which I'd love to know how that now echoes the rest of your life and everything in future. And then B, it almost shows yourself, well, look, if you're willing to say this, then this other thing can't be so bad. So anytime you have a problem, it almost like you just put it into perspective. It was like, hey, it showed your ass and all the problems with your ass, so this isn't a big deal. So it kind of gives you that free pass to do it again and again, where you may in the past have been triggered or felt the shame, to then retreat. So yeah, tell me, how did that then potentially echo in other places of your life now that you've done that? And it's almost been like that chip of like, yes, you let go of your ego.
You know, you just said it. Like, it has translated in every area of my life to the point where I don't care what people think about me, Lisa. Like, and I mean, like, really, like, if you like me, good. If you don't like me, good. If you think I'm cute, good. If you think I'm ugly, good. I used to try to be what other people wanted me to be, especially in business. You know, like in my network marketing company or in network marketing period, you're supposed to dress a certain kind of way. Let me tell you something. Like, what I have on right now, I will wear to the meeting.
Hell yeah.
I would literally wear it to the meeting, and I would get in front of the room and I would say, I know y'all don't think I'm supposed to wear this. I know y'all probably think this is unprofessional. But the reason why I wear it, because I want you to know over here, you could be your authentic self. You could wear whatever you choose to wear. We want you to come by yourself and be in business with us, regardless of how you dress, what you look like. So for me, I think it has opened me up to not care so much about what people think about me. I used to get calls, girl, so-and-so said this, and I cannot tell you the last time somebody called me with any negative energy. People don't call me and tell me negative stuff. People know that I'm like, I think they know I'm unpenetratable. You cannot penetrate me. You could say something on a post that I put up, and sometimes I read my posts just for fun. Like, and they could say the most meanest stuff, and I laugh. So I literally have, and I don't think we ever get 100% ego killed, but I don't care. Long as I have respect, integrity, character, honor, as long as I do what I say and I live on principles, for me, nothing else matters. And I also know that people like to use your story against you, right? I'm the type of person that I would do something, I'll say, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I know y'all probably didn't like it, but this is me. This is my personality. I tell you something I did that people probably was like, wait a minute. When I spoke at GrowthCon, I spoke in front of, that was my first time speaking to a very large white audience. I was so scared. This is when I thought that black people and white people are just different. Like, and we are, but I realized that white trauma, black trauma, when it boiled down, that's probably the one thing we have in common, our traumas. It's the same traumas, except obviously white people didn't go through slavery, but we have a lot of the same things in common. Like, you have insecurities, your mom was on drugs, so when I went to GrowthCon, I don't know if you saw the message, but I spoke for like 45 minutes on stage, and Grant comes out in the middle of me talking, he's like, keep going. I was doing so good. I ended up making him close to $1 million on the stage that day, because my delivery and my message was so good. He was like, he didn't want me to get off the stage. And one of the things I talked about as a Jamaican woman, right? I grew up where marijuana, smoking weed is normal for us. Like, that's what we do. And when I got on the stage, I talked about that. I talked about it. I talked about how that's something I grew up doing in my family. Like, I was 13 years old, my mom would be like, you need to smoke this joint. You need to calm down. As a Jamaican woman, that's where I come from.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought people were gonna shy away, and it made people be like, listen, when I first started talking, Lisa, I spoke for 45 minutes. I'm not making this up. Nobody sat down. I did a 45-minute speech. I never asked them to stand up. They would not sit down. And when I got off the stage, they put a survey out. TD Jakes came in #1 as the best speaker, and I came in #2 as the second best speaker. And to this very day, people ask, are you coming back to GrowthCon? I go every year, and they're like, we need Grant to put you back on stage. And I'm talking about an audience of white, Norwegian, Asian, Japanese, and it's because of my authenticity. And I don't mind being vulnerable and being transparent and telling you, listen, I think everybody has shortcomings. You may not tell me about yours. The difference between me and you is you don't have to look for mine. I put mine out for everybody to see. And if you don't like me, hurry up, figure out now so you can go find somebody you like. You don't have to like me, but go find somebody that you like, because there's someone out there for everybody. And if I'm not your cup of tea, so that's fine. And if I am your cup of tea, that's fine too. So I don't try to please people. I think the #1 issue that a lot of people have is trying to conform to the world and please people. And then you lose your identity trying to please people, or you lose your identity being worried about what people are gonna think about you. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Just find your authenticity, grow in your authenticity, and know that your vibe will attract your tribe. Who you are will eventually attract everything that you need. And if you could get to that space, magic, your life will feel like it's almost magical. Like, listen to me, being here with you today, nobody can tell me nothing. Like, I started this a long time ago. I did. Like, I'm not surprised that I'm here. I put it in my imagination. I put it in my creative imagination. And I believe that whatever you think about with deep emotions will suddenly appear. So whatever I want, I just add a deep emotional thought to it, and I make sure it's fair, because reciprocity is very important, but it's about understanding that and having that in your imagination and showing up with respect, integrity, character, honor, always.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say, is that because you've got that grounding of the respect, integrity, honor, it grounds you. And I think that when I think about how do I keep showing up, it's, I have a value system that I don't negotiate with. And because I have a value system that I've written out in my emotionally sober moments when nothing's going wrong, where I'm like, okay, what's gonna make me feel proud about myself when I go to bed at night? And that's kind of my North Star. And so anytime something difficult comes along my way, a person who's difficult comes along my way, I just go by my value system, and it really helps me stay aligned, because I am easily swayed to be liked. So like you, when you were saying, you can like me, I don't care. I realized that I really do care. And this was like, I tried to pretend I didn't care. And my biggest enlightenment was, Lisa, you actually do care. But here's the caveat. You cannot let you caring dictate your actions. So I had to separate the fact that I would care with how I would then act in accordance. So it's like, okay, I really care that I really want this person to like me. So let's take my show, for instance. I've had comments where it's like, who the hell is she? Look at her hair. Or the thing that I've got a lot actually is I nod a lot.
You nod a lot.
Yeah, when the guest is talking, I nod a lot. I've had comments where they're like, you're too distracting, Lisa, with your nodding. You need to like tone down your body language. So there was a moment where I was like, I really care that I want people to like me. I really want people to like my content because I want to make an impact. And so I was like, should I just nod less? And then that was the moment where I'm like, okay, what does live in integrity? What are your values? My value is that I'm in this conversation.
Yeah.
I address my audience, but I forget the cameras are here.
Exactly.
Like if we literally look this way for a second, we've got multiple people sitting here. We've got offices and desks and things like that. We forget because I'm just in the zone.
We're in our
so
zone.
the truth is that my nodding and my hand expressions and is all because I'm in it. So I'm like, okay, what's my value system? Never fake anything.
Yes.
So now I go to my value system. My value system says never fake anything. You always have to show up to be your authentic self. Cool. What does that mean when I get this negative comment? Value yourself, show up authentic, or make this person happy. I go with my value system. So even though I care that I want to make this person happy, this viewer or this person that's commented, I stick to my value system.
Good.
And so for you, I really think that's what you do, is that you have this moment of these values that you go, am I living in integrity? Am I am I true to my character? And so every single time there are moments where other people may lead astray because they want to people please, they want to feel good about themselves, they want to get the validation from other people. You're able to stay firm on your path because of these things that you've put in place.
I love that. Thank you.
There was something actually, though, that you did say earlier that I didn't want to interrupt, but you'd mentioned that you've been divorced.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, let's actually talk about being a freaking badass, being a strong, confident woman, and then finding a guy that, I don't want to say can handle you, but that can keep up with you so that you don't ever dim your own light. So A, if you don't mind explaining what actually happened in your marriage, if it's not too sensitive, and then how you make sure that freaking Stormy never, ever dims her light, even if she's looking for romance and love.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Is your mom still alive?
Yes.
Okay. So to anyone that has lost their mother, I send you love. I understand the feeling of feeling like you're in the world alone. So let me tell you, I'm grateful that your mom is alive. When you lose your mom, you feel like nobody in the world loves you. Like it is the most unexplainable thing. You feel like you're in the world by yourself. So all you want is for someone to love and protect you. So I met he's my son's father and my ex-husband. My mom died August 26, 2011. I met him in September. So I was very vulnerable. And then he came perfectly packaged, super fine, very built, military man. He was making $130,000, $150,000 a year. He told me that he had saw me before and he's so happy I was his dream girl, all of this stuff. So I thought I had the perfect guy. He would open the door for me. He would hold my hand. He'll kiss me on the forehead. He was into church. I was like, oh, right. He got benefits. He got a nice car. I'm like, yes. And man, Lisa, let me tell you something. No. First of all, he didn't know me. He met emotionally distraught Stormy. He met Stormy who I would wear skirts down to my knees. I would never show my little cleavage. I had gotten very into church. I would go to church every day. I wouldn't listen to rap music. I wouldn't curse. I wasn't going to get no money. I wasn't waking up saying, who got my money, who got my peas. I was just this girl that felt like this damsel in distress with no mom. So he never knew me. And then I met this prophet. That's why you got to be careful who comes into your life. I met this prophet that told me, that's your husband. He literally told me, if you don't marry him, you're going to die.
Oh, God.
And let me tell you why. I know you're like, why would you believe that? I believe this particular prophet because everything he told me, he knew people. He knew my sister's name. He knew my mom's name. Like, I never experienced that before. So I believe that he was accurate. And so it was so serious to the point where I married my ex-husband December 31st of 2012 because he told me, if you don't marry him this year, you're gonna die.
Oh.
So that's why I waited till the last day. So we get married, and I don't know why this has happened to me in the past. Men would come around, and that's not the case now, and they'll feel like she got it. So they would stop all of the things that they did to make money. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So like he went from being this guy to like not doing any of the things that I respected him for. And I found myself, like, we moved in together, we did everything super fast. We moved in together, September, we got married in December. You know, and I lost myself. And I went from being this big, badass, superwoman, hardworking woman to, I was depressed, Lisa, for 3.5 years. I was about 50 pounds heavier. I had no friend, I called it the NFL. I had no friends and no family left. It was just me and him. And finally, I woke up one day, like literally woke up, and I would read the book of Proverbs every day because I needed something. I didn't have nobody. Nobody was telling me that I was acting weird. Like, everybody was gone. It was just literally me and him. And I felt comfort in him until I woke up broke. I woke up fat. I woke up 3 years in with a husband and a new baby. I'm like, where did this baby come from? I went through postpartum depression. Like, it was times that you don't even want me to talk about it. I went through real bad postpartum depression. I used to tell my sister, hey, come in here and make me laugh every day because I'm about to do something to me and this baby.
Do you mind sharing that? And if you don't, obviously I want to respect
I don't mind
it,
at
but the
all.
only is like, if there's any woman, God forbid, listening right now that are like, that maybe we can reach, I think that would be very powerful.
Let me tell you, postpartum depression, and here's the thing, like I had 3 kids, right? I had 2 kids prior to my last one. I never experienced postpartum depression. I do believe that people could sow word seeds into your mind. I had a friend that had postpartum depression, and she used to call me and she used to say, I hope you don't have postpartum depression like me. And I think that that seed started to grow. And when I had my son, interestingly enough, the prophet was still in my life. The prophet told me that I used to send this prophet money every other day because he'll tell me, God said, send me $622.29. If you don't, your child's gonna come out stillborn. It was so bad, Lisa, to the point where I sent this prophet my debit card, and I was already going broke, right? I sent him my debit card because he would tell me, if you don't sow the seed by 7 o'clock, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen, you're gonna get in a car accident. So it was so bad, and this was back when we didn't have Cash App or Zelle. So I would run to Western Union to send him the $672.22. This is how crazy it was. So listen to this. When I went and got my ultrasound, the doctor, and I never told the story, I don't even know why I'm saying this, I think some woman needs this. They told me my son was a girl. So when I go and I tell my husband, my husband at the time had 2 daughters. He wanted a son so bad. So imagine me getting in the car telling him, here's the ultrasound, and it's a girl. He's angry. He was mad with me. I'm talking about for months, treating me like, he actually wanted me to have an abortion. So anyway, I give birth to my son. I thought it was a girl, so when he came out, I'm happy. The dad ends up going back overseas because he worked overseas, and that's when it all started. I went through very serious emotional and just mental trauma. I felt ugly. I felt like I wasn't good enough. The baby, any little movement, any little cry got on my nerves. I used to want to throw him across the room. I didn't like myself. I didn't like him. I was broke. I lived in this very dark, at this point I'm broke. I lived in this very dark townhouse. I had to sell my stuff on eBay. I went broke. So imagine me selling my Louis Vuitton bags, my Rolex watches
Things
on
that you're
eBay.
proud that you've been
Everything.
able to
I went to
build.
the pawn shop, Lisa, and I pawned $50,000 worth of jewelry for less than $4,000. That's how broke I was on a day where it was almost 100 degrees outside. So imagine, it's hot. I just went through it. And here I am with this little baby. And I thank God for my sister. My sister was living with me at the time. I would tell her, hey, I need you to make me laugh every day. Like, this is not good. That's when I started to learn about affirmations and affirmations. And at the time, and even now, I didn't have a woman that could speak into my life. So I started this call called Wake Up and Win. I still do it right now. Every morning I used to do it at 9 o'clock in the morning, Lisa. And I used to do this call, and it's like I turn into this new person when I'm doing my business. I would do the call, finish the call, record it, and call back and listen to the call and hear it and listen to myself like a third party. So 3.5 years, I'm depressed. I finally woke up and realized this isn't normal. I'm fat, I'm broke, I'm drinking a lot. I used to drink strawberry beers. I used to eat all kind of fried chicken and stuff that I wouldn't do. My house was dirty. So when I woke up this day, I call it the mirror technique. I would read the book of Proverbs, and it's like, I don't know what it was. It broke. I woke up one day and was like, this is something wrong with me. Like, I admitted that something is wrong. This is not normal. And I read about the signs of postpartum depression. And that's when I learned that you're in postpartum depression. And so I didn't go to a psychiatrist or a therapist. I went to the mirror. It's called the mirror technique. Basically, you go into a mirror and you literally stare in the mirror until your eyes become like one with yourself. It's like, if you do it, it's gonna make you cry. Like, anybody can do this. You stare in the mirror so long until it's like you see your soul. Mm-hmm. And then you just talk to yourself. And I did it. And I went in the mirror, and first I'm looking at myself and I'm like, first of all, who are you? I didn't even know who I was. And I started crying. Tears just started, and I started crying, like snot coming out of my nose, like a cry, like a baby. And I cursed myself out. Like, I'm talking about, I called myself, you stupid, you're Stormy Nicole Wellington. What has happened to you? You have lost yourself. How did you give up on yourself? How did you become this woman? And I looked around and my house was dirty. I had old refrigerator food, sandwiches in the refrigerator, bologna. I don't even eat bologna. And it's like, the house was dark. I started going around the house, ripping open the blinds. I went to my car. It was smashed. I had a Porsche. It was smashed on the side. It was dirty. The cup holder was dirty. It's like I woke up and I was like, I'm not this girl. I don't eat bologna. I don't drink strawberries. I don't have a dirty car. I wouldn't dare drive around with the car dented in. And I came back to the memory of myself. I found myself again. And I said, I got to get out of this house. That's why environments are everything. And that's when I did what I needed to do. I came in with some money and I moved to Miami. And when I moved to Miami, I purposely said I need to move somewhere that the sun sets a certain way, that the sunlight come into my house. I'm gonna rebuild myself. And that's what I did. But it was after I confronted my truth. Stormy, who are you? Like, who is this lady? First of all, I wouldn't have married this guy. He wasn't even my type. That's how I knew I lost myself. You gotta remember, I had already became Stormy Wellington.
Right. So
I was already Stormy Wellington before. But when I lost my mom, I lost me too. And then I got married, and then it take on this baby. So all of this stuff, and mom dead, I lost my mom. I saw that visual in my eyes. I married this guy. I have this baby. I live in this depressing house, and this guy no longer works. We're broke together. So now who's gonna help me? Nobody helps you when you have a husband. Because why you and him broke together? So I literally had to put the pieces of my life back together. And it started with me saying, this is not you. 3.5 years later, after the mirror technique, I realized that, okay, write out your affirmations, write out your goals. I would write 100 times a day. I am so happy and so grateful now that I, Stormy Nicole Wellington, I win again. I just started writing, and I end up moving to Miami. When I got to Miami, it's like things started to open up for me. I started to get this energy back, and I got back into business. My best friend, that's when she loaned me the money, and I got back into network marketing, and I worked that thing, let me tell you, Lisa, like my life depended on it. And I'll tell you something, I want to tell this to whoever watching me today. There are things that happen that activate you on a whole nother level. And that depression and that postpartum depression, it changed me. But when I moved to Miami, my ex-husband came with me. We were still married at the time because I didn't know. I remember I used to fear God so much. I was told that you never get a divorce. When man find a wife, he find a good thing. And so I'm like, I don't want to be known for getting a divorce. But when we got to Miami, it changed so drastically that I started to really learn who I am all over again. I wasn't the old me because I got a new baby and a husband. Mm-hmm. So I had to redefine Stormy Wellington. But let me tell you one of the things that I felt led to tell the audience today. My ex-husband at the time, he was married. He bought a TV and a console. Imagine my daughter was 12 and my sister, I don't know how old she was, maybe 60 years old, no, 55. They're watching the television. This is when we're starting the divorce process now. He comes in the house while they're watching the TV. My daughter, my son, his son, and my sister. He unplugs the TV that he bought, and he took the console. So I come back home, and there's no TV, there's no console. What happened? Your husband took it. To this very day, my daughter's 24, she was 12 when it happens. She would never forget that her stepdad took the TV. But let me tell you something. that was the best thing he could have ever done for me because I went to work and I said, never again will anybody take me into that dark place and put me in a position that I think I can't get myself out of. No, I'm gonna show you who I really am. And I rebuilt myself back. I made $1 million in 7 months. In 7 months, paid him to leave. And this is something that people may not know, like there's certain states that's a family state that if you have more money than the baby daddy or the baby mom, so to speak, you have to pay child support. So I'm literally going through a case right now. I go to court on June 28th.
Oh, God.
He's trying to get my son and child support. So this is my first time talking about it. So y'all pray for me, wish me the best.
How are you able to do that with a smile on your face?
Because I'm a great person. Great things happen for great people. If I was a bad person, I would be worried. There's no way God's gonna let him. My son does A's and B's. He's a great kid. He's so smart. He needs the support and the dynamic that he has. I want him to have a relationship with his dad, but you don't take a kid away from his mom unless the mom can't be there, you know? So I have a smile on my face because I know that we deserve the best and my son deserves the best and God is not gonna do what I don't deserve. See, I believe that you deserve it and the universe will serve it. So I'm not worried. It's just another part of my story that I get to tell to empower another woman. And remember, whatever you think about with deep emotions will suddenly appear. So if I think that he's gonna win, guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna win. He's not gonna win. He would never win. This is just another feather in my cap, another part of my story, but also this is why we gotta be careful of decisions that we make because some decisions cannot get fixed immediately. Like I got 18 years, my son's only 10. I got 8 more years to deal with this guy. But God is gonna make sure everything works out.
There's so much complexity in the story with that guy, especially because you found yourself, you came out of it, and then you find a guy and you lose yourself again.
Yep.
And this is where, because, you know, me and my show is all about how do women have the confidence to have the life they actually want.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
That's it. So for me, when I think about this, it's like a lot of us will build our confidence and we think, oh, no, once we got the confidence, we're good to go. And sometimes it can be even worse when we have the confidence and then get knocked down because then we start to second guess ourselves. Well, maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes.
Maybe I should just stay here. And there's another world where Stormy Wellington stays in that relationship. There's another world where Stormy didn't find herself, that didn't realize that she was worth more and make that change. And so your story and even how you got out of it, hopefully that someone can then adopt that technique because I think a lot of people do stay there and we stay in the relationship that doesn't serve us because one of the stories that I've shared in the past is before I met Tom, I was with a guy and he was extremely verbally abusive and manipulative to me. And every time I would find the courage to leave, his words to me were, you're never going to find someone that loves you as much as I do. Now, when you're insecure, you believe him.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I did. So this relationship that I had, looking back now, shouldn't have lasted more than 6 months. I was with him for almost 4 years. What would have happened if I didn't leave?
Man.
And so when I think about you...
I wouldn't know you. Thank you.
Right, yeah. I mean, thank you. But I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And I feel the same about you. So explaining how you get out of that type of dynamic, it's super important. But now there's the second part to this story of, now, how do you make sure, A, you never go back there, B, that you still leave yourself open to trust and love, because a lot of people, to make sure you never go back there, they shut themselves down. I'm never going to trust someone again. I'm never going to give myself over to someone again. So how do you make sure that you don't? And then third, how do you make sure that you maintain your confidence even when things may get difficult in a relationship, especially when I'm going to assume you love alpha men. So how do you make sure that you don't allow any person to ever make you turn down your dial again?
Wow, so good, so good. So I would say this, when you experience stuff, one of the greatest gifts that I've discovered is knowing what it feels like in your body. When you're mad, what does it feel like? Like there's a feeling that your body gets when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're discouraged, when you're not proud, when you're depressed, when you're confused. Like it is so important that we embrace those emotions, but we pay attention to what does that feel like in your body. So to me, that's a blessing. I know what all of it feels like. So when I feel it coming, when I feel like right now, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Like, I'm happy being here. I'm happy with this conversation. I'm happy with what I know this talk is gonna do for the world. I feel like people are gonna watch this and they're gonna be sending it to their daughters and their friends. Like, I know that we had a very serious conversation today that's gonna make an impact. So that's number one, being grateful for your experiences because you know what it feels like now. So the next time you feel something, I don't care what it is, even if you gotta write it down, oh my God, I'm sad, this is what it feels like, you know? I'm mad, this is what it feels like, you know? Like, my boyfriend just left me, he spent like 2 weeks with me.
How long have you guys been together now?
A year and like a month. And he's an alpha male. And I'm gonna get there in a minute, but let me tell you. But like, I miss him. He just left yesterday. He was with me for 2 weeks. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I miss somebody. I'm happy. It's a great thing. And I'm paying attention to what it feels like. I know what this feels like. This is a beautiful sensation. And I also know what the love felt like. That's a beautiful sensation. So we have to be cognizant of how things make us feel. And how I feel about something is not how Lisa feels about something. How I feel about something is not how you feel about something. But define it and put a word to it so you can know the sensation. And so that's the beauty of it all. But let me tell you what I didn't know. I used to think, because I am very alpha, I thought I liked feminine men. I thought alpha females need men that's not as alpha. So I literally dated a lot of men that their dominant energy was feminine, not masculine. Because I thought that I needed a more feminine type of man. Because, you know, we have feminine and masculine. We both have it. Everybody has it. That's how God made us. But the truth is, I need an alpha man. An alpha man is not afraid of me. An alpha man thinks I'm cute, thinks that my confidence and my posture is so attractive. We need to know that we are a mixture of feminine and masculine energy. Nobody really talks about that. That is how we were made. We have both. But I need a man who is a man, meaning you know that you're supposed to take out the trash. Like, it makes you feel less of a man if I'm taking out my trash. I've dated men that will let me take out the trash. To me, that's a problem. I don't care if I want to take out the trash. You should be like, no, I'm taking out the trash. Putting gas in the car. I think that that's not a woman's job. But I used to be the woman that didn't have a problem putting gas in the car, but I did have a problem. I would act like, I would do it. I could do it. I could take out the trash. No, I don't want to take out the trash. I would do it and not like it. Now I was like, babe, you'll take out the trash for me, please? I love it when you take out the trash. You know?
I think that really comes with confidence in not to feel like you're less than. And I think that that's, like, I literally was just talking to my sister, in fact, about this, where she came to visit. And she's like, oh yeah, I used to be the one, my sister used to see herself as a very hardcore feminist. And hardcore feminist growing up was like, fuck the men, I don't need a man. That's me growing up. I understand that it isn't how we perceive feminism now, but it definitely wasn't like growing up. So my sister was like, I would never let a guy take my suitcase if I was traveling. I could handle it myself. Now she's like, girl, when I see a guy and I'm trying to put my luggage up, the first thing I do is turn to them and say, like, do you mind helping?
Exactly.
And I think that that's a sign of confidence because you know it doesn't make you seem weak.
Thank you. I didn't define it as that, but I love that. So there you go. I used to do it because I wanted to feel powerful.
Yeah.
But it really looks stupid. Being the woman that pays all the bills, being the woman that has all the answers, like something as small as we're going somewhere, he's driving. I'm saying, turn right, turn left, go straight. No, I'm the queen. I want to sit back. I want to find the music for us to listen to. You get the address, you put it in your GPS, and you find the location. Before, I would just do it, and it would annoy the heck out of me. Now, I let my guy know, baby, I don't want to be telling you to turn right. That feels like I'm telling you what to do, sweetheart. So can you please put the address in your phone, please? Simple. So now I know the type of man, and I tell you, you're going to love this. I have, obviously, a list. I think people need to write their list of their non-negotiables. And my list is considered an acronym again. I love acronyms. CHRIS, C-H-R-I-S. Y'all are gonna love this. I want a man that has credit. He has to have good credit and care about his credit. He doesn't have to have an 800 score, but his credit should matter to him. That used to not be a criteria of mine. The H is health. You have to care about your health. I used to not think about that. And then I would date you, in no disrespect, but like I'm in the health and wellness industry. I can't date a guy that's overweight. It doesn't go with my vision. It doesn't match. And then I'm dating you, and then, you know, I look at you, and in my mind I'm saying, you're fat. I used to do that. Why would I date somebody and then do that to them? The R is real estate. You may not know this, but a lot of men don't have their own place these days. They live with somebody, they live with a friend, they live with a brother, they live with a cousin, they have a roommate. No, I need a man that has his own place. Women need to know that, be careful. A lot of men want to spend the night because they have no place to live. You don't know that, huh?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, these guys, they want to spend the night because they don't have a place. Or they have a place in somebody else's name. It's a lot going on out here, Lisa. You're blessed to have a husband.
I was going to say, for 23 years, I've been with my husband.
You don't know about this world, honey.
I do not know about this world.
The I means investments. As an adult, you should have some ways of making passive income. Like I discovered, like I can't date a man that has a job. Because what happens when I want to go somewhere or I'm always going somewhere and you can never go because you got to ask your boss. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with having a job. I respect it. But for me, for us to vibrate high and for us to progress, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, you need to have some type of passive income or semi-passive income that you don't have to report somewhere. That's the I. And the S, I just told this to my guy yesterday, which may not seem like a big deal, but I promise you, ladies, it's gonna help you out a lot. Support system. I used to date men that didn't have no type of support. I want a man that has a mentor, that has somebody that they can look up to, someone that they can reason with. I've dated men that they have no friends. And now I realize, like, how are you 45, 50 with no friends? What did you do your entire life that nobody cares to be your friend? So those are things that now is very important to me. And I have a mantra in my relationship with me and my guy. You're gonna love this. Progress is the key to happiness and the glue that makes happiness stick. So we're always measuring our progress. Like, how much better are we doing? Am I treating you right? Am I doing the things you expect? Am I making you feel good? Am I growing? Do you like how I'm showing up? Like, we have relationship meetings and we check in with each other and we tell each other, I didn't like what you did, or I wish you would have did this, or I think you should do this. So, you know, having that progress as the cornerstone of our relationship helps us to continue to progress because we want to impress each other.
I love the way you really broke down the Chris, because as you were explaining it, it made me realize these are all value systems.
Yes.
They all go to, okay, these are the things that I value. And so if you align with them, then no matter how much we grow and change, our value will be still aligned. And so even with like the health thing, let's talk about. For me, I joke, but I'm not actually joking, Stormy. I want to live till over 100.
Wow, okay.
Like, I've actually said it. I interviewed a woman that was 103 years old. Wow. She just wrote a book and is completely cognitively there. So now I've seen that it's possible.
Wow.
So I go, Lisa, she lives till 103, because obviously I don't want to live that long if I've got dementia and things like that. I just want to be very clear. So I see it's possible. How the hell do I get there? Because I've got so much work to do, girl. I'm 44 years old. If I live till over 100, I've got like 56 years still in me to create impact. It's like, oh my God, that's incredible. So I've got the goal. Now imagine my husband doesn't give a shit. Now imagine what he values is the now. And so what he does is he eats ice cream every day. He sits on his ass. He doesn't watch his, glucose levels and so on and so forth. You can see how the health thing, we have a different value system around how we show up in our health.
Thank you.
So now when we get to 50 and 60, you can imagine we're not going to be aligned at all because I'm still at 60. I'm like, I'm still freaking young.
Exactly.
I still got another 40 years ahead of me. But if he doesn't care about health, in his 60s, his joints are going to hurt. He doesn't feel good about himself. He's lethargic. And now in our 60s, we've got a very different vision of our lives.
That's not going to work.
It's not going to work. So I love how you really identified the things that matter to you.
Thank you.
In order to give you an accurate North Star so that you never change yourself again. You never find yourself back in that position where you meet a guy and you blink and 3.5 years later, you're wondering, how the hell did I get here?
Thank you. I didn't even look at it like that. And it is, for me, what I realized, one of the most important things that I did not do up until, I just met him a year ago. Like, literally, the last guy I dated didn't have CHRI or S. So I know, like, why didn't it work? Because he didn't have the value system that I was looking for. Thank you for giving me that new understanding.
Yeah, of course.
Every woman should know what she wants. Every man should know what they want. So we don't waste our time. Because wasted time is worse than wasted money.
Okay, well, now, so we're both 44. We
Yes.
realized that when we met earlier today. Health in women, as we age, I'm finding stats, girl, that are horrifying.
Tell me.
Horrifying. So now I'm paying attention. So the highest rate of suicide with women is between 45 and 55. During our perimenopause and menopause years, because our estrogen plummets. So we start to doubt our lives, we start to feel badly about ourselves. The rate of divorce skyrockets. It's initiated by women, goes up to 70% of divorces are initiated by women between the ages of 45 and 55. Hormone change.
Wow.
That's not okay. 1 in 5 women will quit their jobs because of menopause.
Really?
Because of the symptoms that come with it. Brain fog, forgetfulness, tired. And so what happens is, imagine you've been in the workforce. Imagine you've been busting your ass. You've got this career. You're working on the ladder. Maybe you're CEO. You got top title. And now you start forgetting shit. Dang. And now you got brain fog. Because of what it does to our confidence and our emotions, women are just quitting.
Wow, I didn't know this.
So now I'm learning all about this. I'm 44 and I'm like, there's no way of bypassing it, Lisa. You want to live to your 100, you're going to have to go through menopause. So what is changing? What's happening in my body? And how is it going to affect my confidence that I don't realize? So I'm trying to pay attention now so that I can kind of like preempt all the things that I'm going to go through as older. And the reason why I bring this up is, as women, as we've tried to build, right, the entire interview you've just shared, how much you've consciously changed how you show up in order for you to consciously change the trajectory of your future.
Yes, thank you. Now
what happens when you've done all that work, you start to get in your mid-40s, your hormones change and you don't realize. And now you start to go, I'm less confident. I'm actually really tired, even though I just got a ton of sleep. It starts to almost unwire your confidence that you've built.
Wow.
So this is kind of just something that I'm talking about with a lot of women of like, how do we help each other? How do we share this type of information? And then in real time, how do we keep showing up, especially if you're in business and you're freaking badass and you want to be confident and you want to, like really have that self-esteem that can allow you to take things to the next level. How do we start to navigate it?
So I hear you, but for me, that makes me even more excited because all I'm going to do is get more focused. Now I'm going to talk about it and let people know, hey, if you are around this age, this is why this is happening. So I thank you for those stats. So now you must take control of your health because at the end of the day, I believe it doesn't have to happen to you. Why? There's so much technology, so much things you could do. If you just a regular citizen eating and drinking water and doing basic stuff, then I'm sorry, yeah, you may have to succumb to that. But for me, you know what? Now I'm going to be even more cognizant of what I put in my mouth. I'm going to be more cognizant of the things I say. I'm going to work to counteract what you just said.
I love that.
I'm going to say not on my watch.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say.
Yes, exactly.
Not on my watch. I'm going to get my adequate rest. I'm going to meditate even more. I'm going to get adequate sleep. I'm not going to let nobody tell me nothing to stress me out. That's not going to happen to me. How about that?
I love that freaking act.
And I'm going to take some omegas and some NRGs and some NutriBursts and all the stuff I need to take because that's not going to happen to me. I'm not committing suicide. I'm not going backwards. I'm going to live even more between 45 and 55. How about that?
Fuck yeah, girl.
That's what I'm going to do.
We're putting
Thank
that
you.
out there.
That's it. Thank you for that. Because now I'm going to be more mindful of it. Because now, listen, you know, they say people perish for lack of knowledge. So guess what? When you have knowledge, you don't have to perish. So now that I know, you made me I'm going to be more dialed in more than ever because I refuse to live like that. I want to live longer and stronger.
Well, let me give you one more piece of information then, because I'm learning, literally in real time, I'm learning this. I'm just trying to share it with as many people as possible. Is that the symptoms that come with it aren't always obvious. And the only one symptom that can universally be pointed at your hormones is if you get hot flushes. And that's the only way doctors will actually start to take you seriously, because the only way you can get your body temperature to be that hot is if you have a fever, which means that you've just got an infection, or you're in menopause. It's the only two. But now imagine a woman goes into the doctors, says she's got a headache, says she's got brain fog, says that she's got stress. She's put on belly weight and she doesn't actually understand why, because she's never changed anything. And the doctor turns around to you and says, put down the fork and just rest. That's some of the doctor's advice. Now, the thing that I really want to share is that I just found out Medicare doesn't cover your first menopause appointment.
Oh.
So now and as a doctor, they don't consider you in menopause unless you've gone an entire year without getting your period. But here's the thing, your symptoms can happen up to 10 years before your period stops.
Oh, that's so sad.
So not to like depress everybody, but like the information is power, right? So if I can keep sharing it, maybe you can then do something. Like I'm trying to do something. How do I change my hormones? How do I...
Medicare doesn't cover it? That's so, this healthcare system is so scary. That's so sad. Thank you for telling me that. That's why we need multiple streams of income.
Yes.
So we can afford to do what we got to do because the system is not here to protect us. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. So I'm just trying to your point, like I just go, that's not okay. The second I say something's not okay, it means I have to do something about it.
That's what
because
I think.
otherwise I'm looking to everyone else. Like, oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Doctor, what are you going to do? And it's like, that doesn't help
So
anything.
you feel responsible.
I feel responsible. See? So now when I heard you were 44, I was like, all right, me and Stormy, we've got to talk about our hormones because like I am very aware that in a year I may have a little less confidence than I do today.
Did you get your blood work taken off?
So yeah, so I've done everything. I'm literally in the process of getting my blood work down. I actually took it off yesterday, but I had a continuous glucose monitor so I can see how my sugar levels are responding. Temperature, I'm now taking my temperature every morning, jotting it down, telling my doctor because your body temperature fluctuates.
Have you noticed any signs at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Brain fog, forgetfulness.
Really?
Yeah, and so this is also why I bring it up is I do interviews and there I found moments in the middle of an interview, guest is in front of me, and I think I've done it a couple of times today. I'm like, oh God, what was I going to say? That never used to happen. So now imagine I built my skill set, I built my confidence to be a freaking badass, to get in front of the camera when I used to be completely petrified and insecure to ever get in front of the camera. I've been doing this now for like 6 years. And then all of a sudden I can't remember my shit. It's like, what is happening? Asking myself what is happening makes me feel less confident.
It does, I'm sure.
And so now that less confidence messes with my head, right? So it has this spiral and this cycle. So I'm just like, I'm just showing up in true, authentic me. I'm being very honest about what's happening. And then I want to talk to women who are at that age so that maybe we can start to share the knowledge, start to talk about what's happening.
Yes.
So that now, like aging has this like really weird negative connotation. And right now, menopause is like a death sentence.
Are they saying that there's any type of pills or anything that you could do?
So there's definitely like different types of diets. Sometimes fasting can help, lowering your sugar, getting your sleep, prioritizing yourself, getting in environments that are less stressful, vitamin D, vitamin C. I just realized in my blood test that I'm low in selenium. And so
selenium?
Yeah.
What is that?
I can't remember what selenium does. Shit, I should probably know that. So acts as a powerful antioxidant. It can reduce your risk of cancer. It can protect against heart disease. It helps prevent mental decline. I mean, the list goes on. Boosts your immune system, your thyroid health. So because of the selenium,
wow.
Instead of taking, okay, supplements are amazing. Definitely take supplements if you can't. But where can I find it in foods? Brazil nuts. So every bloody day now, without fail, I eat 6 Brazil nuts.
You feel different?
Not really, but I feel like it's a stacking effect, right? So it's like, oh, see where your levels are, see what you need. I've got high levels of heavy metals in my blood, so I'm working to eliminate those. So I'm oxygenating my blood. So like I geek out just like you. Like I love doing all of that stuff. But the point being is once I understand what is happening to my body, once I have the knowledge, once I understand what is happening, why do women live past being able to give birth? Like, let's just actually be honest from a biological standpoint. We are here to procreate, which is why we will have periods like as early as 9 years old, right? So our bodies as women were meant to procreate. But why do we live on after we've had our periods? Because we're wise. So now we can take the wisdom and help the next generation.
We're wise.
From a biological, like I very much believe in biology and there's a lot of lessons to find in biology. So when you process why on earth would we live beyond our means to be able to procreate? Okay, well, we've got wisdom. We can warn people about when you hear the rustle in the woods, it could be danger, right? From caveman days. So now going through wisdom, cool. Women are here to be wise. teach me. So now I'm really looking at the older generation and being like, please teach me all of your knowledge so that I can help myself as I go through it, and then I can potentially help the younger generation. But if we're not talking about it, because back in the day, I mean, women's periods were seen as dirty. We would put in the red tent,
Right.
you know, because it was like, well, you can't be with the rest of the people. And I know we're kind of derailing here, but the importance of aging, hormones, our health,
Yes.
taking ownership
Yes,
over it,
yes.
I think is so imperative. And I would love to know
Wow.
what has, in you taking your health seriously, and what did that do for your confidence? Because I don't think we take our health seriously enough.
That's true. Okay, so my mom died at 64. That's young. And, you know, I love my mom, but my mom looked like she was 74 when she died. And I'm aware that obesity runs rampant in my family. My mom was on antidepressant. My mom had a pacemaker. My mom would smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. And let me tell you something, my sister is a spitting image of my mom, and she's still alive. My sister's overweight, obese. My sister has a pacemaker. My sister smokes a pack of cigarettes a day. My sister's on antidepressant. I mean, again, whatever I don't like, Lisa, I fix it. I do something about it. I am inspired to be the opposite of what I don't like. So what's the opposite of unhealthy? Healthy. So first of all, I'm very big on looking good. Like, I like to look good. Like, I love my hair done. I love my makeup lightly done. I love beautiful skin. I have a skincare line.
Your lip gloss?
Thank you. I love my lip gloss. I love to smile. I love to feel good. I believe feeling good is a strategy. So I am big on looking, like, I'm 44, you know? When I have a daughter, she's 24, I have a son, 27. When I hang out with my daughter, they're like, okay, is that your sister? I love it.
I was gonna say, guaranteed they think
I love it. I love that. And I love feeling good. I love vitality. I love energy. And I think that it's not hard to take care of yourself. Simple things like, I don't know if you know this, but one of the leading causes of, in cancer is colorectal cancer, for example. That's one of the top 3 cancers that people are dying from. So that's why I'm in the health and wellness space. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, but my network marketing company, we sell affordable nutritional supplements. And so if I could get it, I have access to it, why not? So I have my affordable nutrition that comes from my network marketing company, but I also, I got a little money, so I go get my blood work, and I believe in IVs, and I believe in, you know, finding out what is your cortisol levels, and do you have, are you borderline diabetic, are you blood pressure? So prevention is better than cure. So right now, I'm about to get on a real protocol that's a little more of a level up. So right now, my nutrition with my company costs me $200 a month. But I'm about to dial in and spend like $5,000 a month. I gotta tell you about it. So it's this doctor who does like the superhero protocol. He takes your blood, he tells you exactly, precisely what your blood work is telling you that you need. And you just gotta take a lot of supplements. So for me, it's like, you know what, who wants to have a lot of money and be dying because they're unhealthy? And I definitely don't want to be in the middle of a conversation. And that has happened to me before. I hope that don't mean nothing. I hope that just was the time I forgot what I was about to say. You know what I mean? But I've forgotten things mid-sentence too. And I don't want to know that and not do nothing about it. So I think that now we know, I'm aware, I'm about to dial in even more. See these type of conversations, for me, they're not debilitating. For me, they're like empowering. Why? Because now I get to go home and say, hey, you know what? Hey, doc, my friend just told me about this. I'm 44. Let's make sure I'm not pre this. Let's make sure I'm not pre that. And if I gotta take 20 pills a day, I'm the girl that'll say, bring them on, you know? So I'm gonna continue checking in, dialing in, and even more now because I have never had a hot flash. I'm normally cold all the time. So I don't want that. And I also know that, you know, I have a women's community, right? So how can I represent something and not represent what I represent? You know what I mean? So even more now that you're talking about it, I'm gonna dial in even more.
And even as you were talking, what was interesting is like, oh yeah, like it almost like instead of allowing your health and the aging and your hormone change to negatively impact your confidence, which I think it can for a lot of women and has, in the way that you broke it down and taking the ownership, it allows you to actually lean into the confidence more, because when you believe you can do something about it, I think that it builds your confidence. When you don't, when you feel helpless, when you feel like the victim, I think that's when you don't have the confidence. So even thinking about taking the ownership over, okay, well, if this is true, how do I show up? Even in that thought process is what helps you build the confidence.
Exactly.
So it's not just the act, it's the thought process as well. Yeah, like, so the hormone thing, I mean, it's breaking my heart that so many women have gone through it. And it also breaks my heart that I wasn't empathetic to my own mother going through it. And that's the thing. So one of my friends is actually a doctor, and she's Mindy Pels. She's actually very prominent in the hormone space. And she turned to me, and her daughter's just learning things. And so her daughter recently turned around to her and was like, Mom, I just want to apologize that I wasn't there for you more. So even this is something you can maybe teach your daughter.
Exactly.
So that when she gets to the age, she doesn't see it as negative. She actually can have empathy for you. And if we can also see other women, so like the thing that I'm talking about in my business is like, if women are going through it, what are the things that we can do to support them? And so there are certain times where it's like, maybe you should do less Zoom calls in a day, where depending on where your hormone
less Zoom calls.
Yeah, like depending on where your hormone levels are at, because the stress of the blue light, like it's like it can compound it. So yeah, as I was talking to you, I was like, okay, what are all the things that can help your confidence, help build it, or help, unfortunately, knock it?
I think it feels good to take care of yourself too. Like knowing that I meditate, knowing that I detox every day, knowing that I take supplements, knowing that I'm gonna go for a walk, like knowing that I'm not gonna eat anything. You know, I think it makes me feel like I love myself. And I think a lot of people say they love themselves, but do you do the things that shows yourself the act of love? Loving yourself is not just getting your hair done and getting your nails done and putting on some makeup. Like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you consuming? What conversations are you allowing in your ear gate? You know, one of my favorite prayers is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Today, here we go again. Women are gonna be able to watch this and they're gonna know, okay, oh, maybe that's what I'm going through. Because the worst thing is to think that you're not in control of something that you actually can be in control of. So I think that is so amazing that you're bringing that up, because I didn't even know this. This is a whole new knowingness for me.
And as an alpha woman, that idea of like, what the hell is happening to me? You know, I'm finding myself more emotional now, where it's like I used to be able to easily handle my emotions.
Really?
Yeah, like I cry more. I never cry. Like I'm just crying, like, you know, there's like puppy commercials. I'm like, oh, I'm a puppy. Like, and that never used to be me. And I used to judge myself as, Lisa, freaking suck it up. What's wrong with you?
Wow.
Talking about the negative voice, that was it. Once I started to understand hormones, aging, I was like, oh, Lisa, bless you. Hormones are just changing.
But you see, the knowingness. So I'm going to talk about it even more, because if you didn't know, that could have put you in a downward spiral. Thank you. You are empowering me, Lisa.
Girl.
Us. Thank you. Let's say thank you, Lisa.
My girl, this has been so freaking empowering
fun
and enjoyable. Where can people find you and all the amazing things that you're up to so we can follow along your journey?
This is what I would say. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Stormy with a Y. I love Instagram. That is my home. I dominate and I rock on Instagram. And you can find me at stormywellington.com, or just Google me. I'm all over the internet.
Oh, yeah. If you want to learn how to finally ditch those nice girl habits and master your confidence, then click here right now.
Future of if I continue to go down this road, if I gain twice the weight, if I get arrested twice the times, right? If I have twice the bad friends, like what my life looks like, it was unacceptable to me. I don't want to